They got a call at a
Hello and welcome to CNBC TV 18's coverage of an extremely tragic news. Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde passed away this morning, and right now what you can see is right now we are outside. Sakshi, will have to start again.
So roughly 36 minutes later, and a few minutes later, the ATC was informed about the crash. But looking at this footage or the timeline, clearly the plane had reached Baramati. It was set to land. In fact, there are also certain information that it already attempted a landing before this. What your first sense of what could have gone wrong?
Thank you, ma'am, for having me on your show. Firstly, a very, very tragic incident where we have lost 6 lives, including Shri Pawar. Now, Baramati strip is essentially a tabletop runway, which is essentially meaning elevated, right? Now, in this case, very clearly, the pilot attempted a first approach. And the pilot said negative when it came to visibility. So the first approach, pilot said negative. The captain said negative. Then a second approach was tried. When the second approach was tried, then there was a mayday call.
Hello and welcome to CNBC's coverage of an absolutely tragic news. Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar passed away this morning. The tragic incident took place in in Maharashtra's Baramati area, and Pawar family is actually known for its stronghold in Baramati, and unfortunately the incident also is related to Baramati. I'm also being joined by my colleague Mayuresh. Mayuresh, what a tragic news. Before we go to Mayuresh, let me tell you that we are outside Mumbai's airport for private planes, and the convoy you can see, it is of Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde's convoy. So Mayuresh, Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, where is he? Has he already left for Baramati?
No, we are expecting that Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde should come here. Eknath Shinde is already here. They will be taking this charter flight. They will be going to Pune. But it was a very tragic incident. Everyone got up with this sad news because the news which came that a plane accident had happened in Baramati. Then the details started coming that it could be the Ajit Pawar's plane because he was travelling. Then yes, it got confirmation that Ajit Pawar was there. And what information I gathered is that in the morning Ajit Pawar left because he was supposed to address 4 rallies.
Correct, you know that 5 p.m.
Yeah,
yes.
To know that on the 5th there is a ZP elections in Maharashtra, and Ajit Pawar is known as a grass. He was known for having a very close association with all his workers, and he was a grassroots leader. So he was supposed to address 4 rallies or 5 rallies, and that's why he was flying from Mumbai. Yesterday he attended the cabinet meeting also, whereas 13 ministers skipped the cabinet meeting on the account of there are ZP elections in their constituency. But Ajit Pawar he was there in the cabinet. He attended the cabinet. Today he left for this, and this tragic accident happened.
And Mayuresh, Ajit Pawar was actually known for his deep understanding of administrative work, as in how a government functions, and he was known for being an absolutely hard-working leader and minister, and as you mentioned, also for his grassroots connect, especially in rural Maharashtra. You remember, so far he's sworn in as Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister on 6 occasions, and when his 4th swearing-in ceremony as the Deputy Chief Minister happened, you remember, for 80 hours, Mayuresh and I, we covered that story together. You remember those 80 hours when that was the first time he tried to defect from NCP.
Absolutely, and later on, if you remember that when he actually defected from the NCP, he mentioned why he did and what exactly was the plan, and it was not his own decision, it was a collective decision of a party. So he basically spilled the beans about that entire incident. But as you said, he was not only a grassroots leader, you can see that CM's convoy also is expected here.
Deputy Chief Minister's convoy is here, and all the key political leaders, friends, family, relatives, all of them are arriving here at this airport, and they are departing for Baramati. Mayuresh, Sharad Pawar also left in the morning?
Yes, I was at his place somewhere around 12:15. He left along with his wife Pratibha Pawar and his son-in-law Mr. Sure. They left for Baramati, and it is very shocking incident for him because after Sharad Pawar, if someone says that who is going to lead NCP, there were only two names. One is Ajit Pawar for Maharashtra, and for Centre Affairs it was Supriya Sule. So it is a very tragic accident which had happened, but it's a very sad because no one has expected that Ajit Pawar something like this will happen to him because he was always sharp.
He was so fit. He was 66 but so fit.
He was so fit. So when we used to have a very off-record interaction with him, he used to say that my day starts at 4:30. I get about 4:30. 5 to 6 a.m. is my dedicated walking time. 7 a.m. I have a first meeting. So his first meeting is always be at 7 a.m. and not after that. So he used to start his routine by 7 a.m. And you know that you can see the Maharashtra's Chief Minister's convoy is here, and CM is also coming. So we have been.
I would like to request our camera person to pan a little bit to show the development here. You can see the convoy here. Chief Ministers.
So
yes.
CM and Eknath Shinde, Deputy CM, both are flying together along with few other cabinet ministers in the same flight. So as I was telling you, though he was a grassroots leader, he was a sharp person, but what I have seen when he was in power during a Mahavikas Aghadi government, he's got a good aesthetic sense.
Yeah.
So whenever
I'm actually about to come to that. So Mayuresh has been covering Maharashtra's politics and especially NCP side of things for a very long time now. What exactly you were talking about his...
So I'll give an example. So when he was Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister during the Mahavikas Aghadi government, so he and Aditya Thackeray had conducted a morning inspection of the roads and the bridges, and it was a 7 a.m. So it was very early for Mumbaikars also that a leader or a Deputy Chief Minister is doing that. And wherever he found that this particular part has not been done well, he used to pull up the engineers or the person over there who's the authority. And
something Eknath Shinde started doing once he became the Chief Minister, right?
Yes, but Ajit Pawar used to tell that this is not in align, this is not symmetric, this is not aligning, this color is not aligning with this kind of a design, or this design is not perfect. So his sense or that particular sense was, his aesthetic sense was amazing. There are a lot of such videos you can find in rural areas also, especially in Baramati or in Beed. So if development of a community hall has happened or development of some bridge has happened, and if he finds something is not aligning, then he will pull up that particular engineer or the authority person, even the PWD officer, that this is not matching and you have to redo this work, because everything has to be perfect for Ajit Pawar.
He had an eye for detail. He was born in 1959. He started his political career in the 80s and 1980s. So initially he worked under the shadow of his uncle Sharad Pawar, and then he very quickly rose through the ranks and file of NCP. He will also be remembered for reforming Maharashtra's cooperative structure, because initially he started with sugar mills and your cooperative banks. What else will he remembered for his legacy? How do you look at it?
See, he is the person now. Right now also I was having word, or I was just speaking with a lot of his, lot of people who are associated with him right now. Everyone was telling me that it's a big loss for them. It's their personal loss. And if you see that, even Raj Thackeray had once said that Ajit Pawar is, I may be having some differences with Ajit Pawar, political or something, but he is the person who never played a caste politics. He always he emphasizes that we should do a development and we should carry out the agenda of the development and not anything else. Even while joining hands with the BJP also, he said that I'm going there for the agenda of the development, nothing else. So
I remember he on multiple occasions Ajit Pawar maintained that despite the fact that they are going in the saffron fold, his politics of secularism is going to remain intact, and that was a very tight rope for him to walk. Right?
Absolutely, it was a tight rope for him to walk, and he got criticized for that. That how can you say that you're joining hands with the BJP in the state and you're saying that you will be maintaining the secularism? But he always said that we have joined hands with them only for the purpose of the agenda, because we believe in the vision of PM Narendra Modi and we believe in the vision of Devendra Fadnavis. We know that both of them work for the development, and we have seen that kind of a development in the state and in the nation also, and that's why we are joined. So though he got criticized, but he always maintained that stand. Even moreover, he was criticized for basically paying respect for Savarkar also. He was criticized that if you are saying that you are secular, then how can you do this? But he said that this is my idol, I believe, so I am doing that.
He was very unapologetic, and that obviously landed him in trouble also. But today is not the day to talk about the controversies, though there were a few controversies, whether it was about irrigation scam or the MSCB scam. But it feels so weird to say that, till this morning Maharashtra had 2 deputy chief ministers, and now we have only 1 deputy chief minister. And his dream of becoming the chief minister of the state could never materialize, and unfortunately it never will materialize now.
Absolutely.
And Mayuresh, because you have covered his trajectory, he did everything possible politically to gain that, but that didn't happen.
Absolutely, and it was always everyone's dream that to become a chief minister. If you ask any chief minister, he will also say that it is a dream of any politician to become a chief minister.
And he was very vocal about his ambition.
He was very vocal about it, and that's why. To tell you very frankly, when there was an opportunity to NCP to claim on the post of the chief minister, when they were sharing power with the Congress, and they have got a good score. That time also Sharad Pawar basically took a back step and they said that we will not claim on the post of the chief minister, let Congress have it. That was a time when Ajit Pawar first got disappointed, though he didn't express it in a public, but certainly he got disappointed in the public. In a private talk, he used to always say that it was an opportunity which NCP party missed.
As we speak about his political legacy, yes.
The Maharashtra governor will be also flying in the same flight with the chief minister. So
He just passed by, right? We saw him,
He just passed by. So it's
for Maharashtra's governor as well and key political leaders. Since we started this live, Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, Maharashtra's Chief Minister, and now the governor, all three are here. They are going to. You say that they are going to fly in the same flight?
They are going to fly in the same flight. That's what we have been given to understand, and that's why we are expecting few more cabinet ministers will also join them. We don't have exact list, but Sandhya, it's a big loss for Baramati. It's a big loss for Maharashtra. As we were discussing, Ajit Pawar was not only a visionary or a grassroots, but he was a person of a perfectionist. And whenever you go to his office, a lot of time people do come with the recommendations that please recommend me this post, or please sign on this recommendation. I want to go this post. He used to always say that if you have a work of development, please come. If you have any kind of other agenda,
Sifarish work.
It is the board was mentioned on his cabin that if you are coming here for any kind of sifarish, or if you are coming here to get any kind of contract, this is not a place you should be coming. You should come here with the people's work. You should come here with some kind of problem which are related to the people, and once it is solved, people will get relief. So that much he was very much clear with his work.
So Maharashtra's politics, the political landscape of the state has been changing for a very long time now, and on more than 2 occasions Ajit Pawar played a big role in changing that political landscape. And once again, but this time unfortunately because of his death, Mayuresh, the political landscape of the state is unsettled once again. What do you think is going to happen next? Because there are going to be massive change within NCP AP, some changes in NCP SP, and also the government's formation, everything. There's so much to do. BJP doesn't need NCP support to retain power, but still he was a big ally, right?
Absolutely. See, as we discussed that he was seen as a next NCP leader, and there were talks of the merger also happening. If you remember,
in Pune and Pimpri-Chinchwad, we saw for
that happened at the local level. But there are if you go and in the political corridors of Maharashtra, there are talks. There are ultimate merger of both the NCPs basically are getting discussed, and Ajit Pawar was seen as a face of NCP. If NCP reunites, then he is the face after Sharad Pawar. That is a clear thing. There is no one else who can handle this party. There is no one else, because from distribution of tickets at the ground level to taking any decision at the high level, Ajit Pawar was involved. Even Supriya Sule has many times said that when it comes to Maharashtra politics, Ajit is the only person, he is the authority after Sharad Pawar.
And before I get into the family side of things, he was supposed to present Maharashtra's budget next month. So what exactly, things will get impacted, right? Because he was not a pen pusher or a pencil pusher for that matter. He was fully involved in decision taking, and because he understood the bureaucratic and administrative side of things, so he was really very, very important. He was unlike many ministers we know of. So how do you look at it? To what extent it's going to impact budget?
Absolutely, we have to give it to Ajit Pawar. He was a taskmaster. he was a good planner. And he was not that kind of a person who will just basically, you can call him as a rubber stamp. There are many such leaders who basically have no idea about what exactly is a budget, where exactly you have to allocate the budget, which department needs it. So I remember two things. One, during COVID, he had allocated a good amount to the medical department or health department, saying that there's a COVID time and we should give it, and that's why the budget of other departments were curtailed, and he was blatantly telling that right now your department don't need that money. It's what Maharashtra needs it for the health department. That's why we are deploying it to health. Same thing during this last election, if you remember, that Ladki Bahin Yojana or the scheme was very much famous. So he allocated, keeping the elections and everything, when he allocated a good amount of budget to the Ladki Bahin, lot of flags he received, but he kept it man, and that's why we saw that kind of a result, a massive result, which BJP, Shiv Sena and NCP got it in Maharashtra.
Maharashtra had a massive, deficit in terms of revenue. Maharashtra had because allocating such a huge amount, because when the scheme was implemented at that time, the initial budget was 46,000 crore rupees. In the last budget, it was brought down to 36,000 crore rupees, and this was just one scheme. There were multiple other schemes right before the elections, all the populist schemes for the Mahayuti, and the state was going through and is still going through a financial distress. But somehow he kept things afloat, right?
Yeah, somehow he kept things afloat. And when this question was asked to him, then why you're giving so much of funds to the one particular department or one particular scheme, and definitely it will impact and affect others, he clearly said that we have got a backup plan ready, so you don't need to worry. Nothing is going to affect. And so far we are seeing that the Maharashtra government is properly carrying out their finances. Now, he was supposed to present a budget for the 11th time. It's a record. 10th is a record. 11th time he was supposed to present the budget, but unfortunately he won't be able to present the budget, or he will be missed badly in assembly also, because he was the first person who used to come in the assembly sharp at 8:30 or 9 o'clock. He used to regularly attend his meeting. He used to conduct the meetings. He used to get the briefings from his officials that what is going to expect today, what are the listings, what are the business for today, and that's how he used to plan his entire work. So the way he used to work, it was really amazing. But yes, everyone will definitely miss him, because I remember while having word with Aditya, that time he has said that Aditya Thackeray, when I started working with Ajit Pawar, I got to know that how basically politicians observe the thing and they implement it. So that's what he had told me. So that's many oppositions have learned a lot of. So we were speaking with Prasad Lad, who's with BJP earlier. He said that he was a kind of a taskmaster. If you go to him, he will ask you precise questions. If you have answer of this precise question, then only he will entertain you. If you don't have, he'll say, go back to the drawing board, get your things sorted and come back.
And a lot happened with Ajit Pawar in the last few years. For example, 2019, he sworn in as Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister for 80 hours. And then once again, within a week, he was sworn in as Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister. Then, once MVA was dismantled, he became the leader of opposition. And then in 2023, once again sworn in as Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister. Then again in 2024. He tried to split from NCP on two occasions in the recent years. One was when he sworn in for 80 hours, and 2019, and then 2023. Before that also in 2022, when the controversy erupted and somehow Sharad Pawar managed to, pacify him at least for 1 year. But in 2023, when the final split happened, unlike Shiv Sena split, because family was not involved there, here family was involved, and Ajit Pawar kept going to his uncle's place, kept meeting his aunt, and no absolutely unfortunate things were said, right?
No unfortunate things were said. There was no personal attack, and Ajit Pawar had maintained that when he split from Sharad Pawar also. He never criticized Sharad Pawar in that manner, the way usually politicians criticize. He kept that decorum. He was having a very good relation with his aunt, that is Sharad Pawar's wife. And
within a few months, she was hospitalized and she was unwell, and he went to meet her.
Even during 2019, when the first time Ajit Pawar deflected and he got sworn in, and then before he came back, that time he was not answering anyone's call. He was not answering the family call, but it was Pratibha Pawar who basically spoke to him. And she said that you need to come back because the family needs to stay together. And people say that he listened to them, and then the political things happened. But yes, he was very close to a lot of his even in recent
His son's engagement, the
exactly.
entire family was
The
together.
entire family was together in recent not engagement, the wedding of his younger son, which had happened, and we saw that Ajit Pawar was dancing with Rohit Pawar. Rohit Pawar, his nephew. In Sharad Pawar faction, but he used to criticize Ajit Pawar in a sense, politically criticize, not a personal attack. But we saw that both of them were enjoying that dance. So Ajit Pawar was that person that who used to forgive people, but he never used to forget.
That's a really strong thing, Mayuresh. Sad day for not just Pawar family, but also for NCP, both factions, and definitely for Maharashtra. And this particular, this tragedy, this unfortunate demise of Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar has left a void in Maharashtra's political landscape, and this will also now lead to rewriting of NCP, SP, both factions. And who exactly is going to fill the void and who is going to have the hold Ajit Pawar had on Maharashtra's rural areas. And this tragedy will also rewrite the future and political relevance of key leaders like Supriya Sule, Rohit Pawar, Sunil Tatkare, Praful Patel, and even Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. In Mumbai, with camera person Prashant Goge, Santya and Mayuresh for CNBC TV 18.
गोजबावी या ठिकाणी जिथं विमान उतरतं ते त्या धावपट्टीच्या शेजारची ही घटना आहे. या ठिकाणी हे विमान पूर्णपणे क्रॅश झालेलं आहे.
And welcome to CNBC's coverage of an absolutely tragic news. Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar passed away this morning. The tragic incident took place in in Maharashtra's Baramati area, and Pawar family is actually known for its stronghold in Baramati, and unfortunately the incident also is related to Baramati. I'm also being joined by my colleague Mayuresh. Mayuresh, what a tragic news. Before we go to Mayuresh, let me tell you that we are outside Mumbai's airport for private planes, and the convoy you can see, it is of Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde's convoy. So Mayuresh, Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, where is he? Has he already left for Baramati?
No, we are expecting that Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde should come here. Eknath Shinde is already here. They will be taking this charter flight. They will be going to Pune. But it was a very tragic incident. Everyone got up with this sad news, because the news which came that a plane accident had happened in Baramati. Then the details started coming that it could be the Ajit Pawar's plane, because he was travelling. Then yes, it got confirmation that Ajit Pawar was there. And what information I gathered is that in the morning Ajit Pawar left because he was supposed to address 4 rallies.
Correct,
know
till
that
5 p.m.
Yeah,
Yes.
to know that on the 5th there is a ZP elections in Maharashtra, and Ajit Pawar is known as a he was known for having a very close association with all his workers, and he was a grassroots leader. So he was supposed to address 4 rallies or 5 rallies, and that's why he was flying from Mumbai. Yesterday he attended the cabinet meeting also, whereas 13 ministers skipped the cabinet meeting on the account of there are ZP elections in their constituency. But Ajit Pawar he was there in the cabinet. He attended the cabinet today. He left for this, and this tragic accident happened.
And Mayuresh, Ajit Pawar was actually known for his deep understanding of administrative work, as in how a government functions, and he was known for being an absolutely hard-working leader and minister, and as you mentioned, also for his grassroots connect, especially in rural Maharashtra. You remember, so far he's sworn in as Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister on 6 occasions, and when his 4th swearing-in ceremony as the Deputy Chief Minister happened, you remember, for 80 hours, Mayuresh and I, we covered that story together. You remember those 80 hours when that was the first time he tried to defect from NCP.
Absolutely, and later on, you remember that when he actually defected from the NCP, he mentioned why he did and what exactly was the plan, and it was not his own decision, it was a collective decision of a party. So he basically spilled the beans about that entire incident. But as you said, he was not only a grassroots leader. You can see that CM's convoy is also is expected here.
Deputy Chief Minister's convoy is here, and all the key political leaders, friends, family, relatives, all of them are arriving here at this airport, and they are departing for Baramati. Mayuresh, Sharad Pawar also left in the morning?
Yes, I was at his place somewhere around 12:15. He left along with his wife Pratibha Pawar and his son-in-law Mr. Sure. They left for Baramati, and it is very shocking incident for him, because after Sharad Pawar, if someone says that who is going to lead NCP, there were only two names. One is Ajit Pawar for Maharashtra, and for Centre Affairs it was Supriya Sule. So it is a very tragic accident which had happened, but it's a very sad, because no one has expected that Ajit Pawar something like this will happen to Ajit, because he was always sharp.
He was so fit. He was 66 but so fit.
He was so fit. So when we used to have a very off-record interaction with him, he used to say that my day starts at 4:30. I get up at 4:30. 5 to 6 a.m. is my dedicated walking time. 7 a.m. I have a first meeting. So his first meeting is always be at 7 a.m. and not after that. So he used to start his routine by 7 a.m. And you know that you can see the Maharashtra's Chief Minister's convoy is here, and CM is also coming. So we have been told.
I would like to request our camera person to pan a little bit to show the development here. You can see the convoy here. Chief Ministers.
So
yes.
CM and Eknath Shinde, Deputy CM, both are flying together along with few other cabinet ministers in the same flight. So as I was telling you, though he was a grassroots leader, he was a sharp person, but what I have seen when he was in power during a Mahavikas Aghadi government, he's got a good aesthetic sense.
Yeah.
So whenever
I was actually about to come to that. So Mayuresh has been covering Maharashtra's politics and especially NCP side of things for a very long time now. What exactly you were talking about his...
So I'll give an example. So when he was Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister during the Mahavikas Aghadi government, so he and Aditya Thackeray had conducted a morning inspection of the roads and the bridges, and it was a 7 a.m. So it was very early for Mumbaikars also that a leader or a Deputy Chief Minister is doing that. And wherever he found that this particular part has not been done well, he used to pull up the engineers or the person over there who's the authority. And
Something Eknath Shinde started doing once he became the Chief Minister, right?
Yes, but Ajit Pawar used to tell that this is not in align, this is not symmetric, this is not aligning, this color is not aligning with this kind of a design, or this design is not perfect. So his sense, or that particular sense was, his aesthetic sense was amazing. There are a lot of such videos you can find in rural areas also, especially in Baramati or in Bid. So if development of a community hall has happened, or development of some bridge has happened, and if he finds something is not aligning, then he will pull up that particular engineer or the authority person, even the PWD officer, that this is not matching and you have to redo this work, because everything has to be perfect for Ajit Pawar.
He had an eye for detail. He was born in 1959. He started his political career in the 80s and 1980s. So initially he worked under the shadow of his uncle Sharad Pawar, and then he very quickly rose through the ranks and file of NCP. He will also be remembered for reforming Maharashtra's cooperative structure, because initially he started with sugar mills and your cooperative banks. What else will he remembered for his legacy? How do you look at it?
See, he is the person now. Right now also I was having word, or I was just speaking with a lot of his, lot of people who are associated with him right now. Everyone was telling me that it's a big loss for them. It's their personal loss. And if you see that, even Raj Thackeray has once said that Ajit Pawar is, I may be having some differences with Ajit Pawar, political or something, but he is the person who never played a caste politics. He always he emphasizes that we should do a development and we should carry out the agenda of the development and not anything else. Even while joining hands with the BJP also, he said that I'm going there for the agenda of the development, nothing else. So
I remember he on multiple occasions Ajit Pawar maintained that despite the fact that they are going in the saffron fold, his politics of secularism is going to remain intact, and that was a very tight rope for him to walk. Right?
Absolutely, it was a tight rope for him to walk, and he got criticized for that. That how can you say that you're joining hands with the BJP in the state and you're saying that you will be maintaining the secularism? But he always said that we have joined hands with them only for the purpose of the agenda, because we believe in the vision of PM Narendra Modi and we believe in the vision of Devendra Fadnavis. We know that both of them work for the development, and we have seen that kind of a development in the state and in the nation also, and that's why we are joined. So though he got criticized, but he always maintained that stand. Even moreover, he was criticized for basically paying respect for Savarkar also. He was criticized that if you are saying that you are secular, then how can you do this? But he said that this is my idol, I believe, so I am doing that.
He was very unapologetic, and that obviously landed him in trouble also. But today is not the day to talk about the controversies, though there were a few controversies, whether it was about irrigation scam or the MSCB scam. But it feels so weird to say that, till this morning Maharashtra had two deputy chief ministers, and now we have only one deputy chief minister, and his dream of becoming the chief minister of the state could never materialize, and unfortunately it never will materialize now. Absolutely. And Mayresh, because you have covered his trajectory, he did everything possible politically to gain that, but that didn't happen.
Absolutely, and it was always everyone's dream that to become a chief minister. If you ask any chief minister, he will also say that it is a dream of any politician to become a chief minister.
He was very vocal about his ambition.
He was very vocal about it, and that's why. To tell you very frankly, when there was an opportunity to NCP to claim on the post of the chief minister, when they were sharing power with the Congress, and they have got a good score. That time also Sharad Pawar basically took a backstep and they said that we will not claim on the post of the chief minister. Let Congress have it. That was a time when Ajit Pawar first got disappointed, though he didn't express it in a public, but certainly he got disappointed in the public. In a private talk, he used to always say that it was an opportunity which NCP party missed.
As we speak about his political legacy,
कैसे इतना बड़ा हादसा हुआ। हमारे घनिष्ठ मित्र थे, हमारी सरकार में अहम पद पर थे, सहयोगी थे, महाराष्ट्र के बड़े ऊंचे स्तर के नेता। मेरी ईश्वर से यही प्रार्थना है कि परिवारजनों को हिम्मत दे और अजीत दादा की
अजीत पवार का ये एक्सीडेंट में निधन होना ये बहुत ही दुखद और दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। पिछले 40 साल से महाराष्ट्र के राजनीति में मेरे बहुत घनिष्ठ मित्र रहे, उनके मेरे पारिवारिक संबंध रहे। बहुत कर्मठ, अच्छा प्रशासक और विकास की दृष्टि रखने वाले ऐसे वो नेता थे।
BJP MP Ujjwal Nikam is also joining us on the show. Ujjwal Nikam, thanks a lot for your time. Your first thoughts, your condolences on this occasion, and also would you like to share some moments that you may have shared with Ajit Pawar?
Yes, indeed. It's a really shocking news, not only to me, but the entire Maharashtra, because the ex-deputy chief minister Ajit Dada Pawar was known for his frank and bold statement in the state. But at the same time, he was very clear in his idea in telling the truth to the people at large, and his main effort was to tell the people very clearly instead of giving false assurance. I have a personal experience, though people may be thinking he was a very serious and outspoken, but he was a very very sensitive. When I met in one accident while coming from Pune to Mumbai, after conducting case at the night times, there was a big road accident and my car was heavily damaged. Immediately, Ajit Dada called me in that night time and he asked me, Ujjwalji, whether are you seriously injured? No, Dada, you don't worry about me. Then immediately asked whether there is a foul game played by any criminal against you. I told Dada ki no Dada, I am absolutely all right. Now you see how the destiny is. Sunetra Vainiji is also the Rajya Sabha member. She is sitting next to me. I have no words to give the condolence to her, but I am very confident and candid that she will come out of this grief. I pay wholeheartedly homage to their family and I pray to the God to keep his soul in eternal peace.
You know, in Baramati, a constituency that he has represented for so long, for 30 plus years, this accident has taken place right there, what can be termed as his karma bhumi as well. Big loss, not just for, what he was to Baramati or Western Maharashtra, but overall in Maharashtrian politics as well.
Yes, because why I said that is a big loss to the Maharashtra, because he had never done the politics of only for giving any false assurance to the people at large. He was very straightforward. while telling a new idea to the common man. And it was very easily approachable. This is number one. Number two, he is very clear in his thought what to do. And he has developed Baramati. Of course, his uncle Sharad Raoji also was behind him during that time. But he had a high regard and respect for his uncle also. That I have personally seen. People may talk anything, but you see, I have the personal experience that they had a very cordial and good relation amongst them.
Yeah. No, certainly big loss for the family as well. This has happened so suddenly that kind of reminds you of the fickleness of life itself. But the one thing, Ujjwal Nikam, as you're also pointing out, that everybody is talking about is that how he was a 24/7 politician, a consummate politician, always working, barely sleeping, people say. And even in this occasion, for example, he was traveling to Baramati by this light aircraft and was set to address certain gatherings there. And he was always very approachable, as you mentioned. That is the one, common thought and common stream of reactions that are coming in about him.
Yes, it is true. I had been to Baramati some years back, and he was that way open-hearted also. He had shown me his uncle's library as well as the museum which he has made, and with all the pride. You see, I like this because you see, even there were some political differences between senior Pawar Sahib and Ajit Dada, but even then, so far as in family matters, he never has shown any such dispute among their family. That is a greatness in his mind also. But I'm leery. I have no words to give any condolence to the Bhabi, Sunitra Bhabi. She had also visited, though she belonged to, she had visited also here the many functions, attended many functions. And though I was a BJP president nominated member of the Rajya Sabha, but she's very, she has very interest in participating in all those parliament postings, especially Rajya Sabha proceeding.
Ujjwal Nikam, because a lot of people are already talking about it, I do want to take your reaction. I know this is a very, possibly not the best time, but I have to ask you this since I have you. Do you think Ajit Pawar's demise could force any rethink as far as the two factions of the NCP is concerned?
See, that I can't forecast at the juncture, and it's not also good to ask such question or to reply such question at this moment, because I'm in the morning when I got the news, I was really shocked, and so I can't tell about all these things. But God give the strength to their family to come out of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ujjwal Nikam, for joining us. Certainly, all thoughts and prayers are going to the family right now. Speaking of the family, we are getting a lot of visuals or updates that a lot of the family members are now collecting in Baramati. Some of those visuals are on your screen. And a lot of supporters, of course, because here this was constituency that was nurtured by the Pawars, Sharad Pawar and Ajit Pawar both. There is, of course, a lot of influence that they had in this constituency and goodwill that they enjoyed in this constituency. So certainly there will be an outpouring of grief that has taken on what has transpired. We're also getting some updates coming in. Top government sources are informing CNN News 18 that the initial probe into the plane crash suggests that it happened due to fog. Initial reports suggest the pilot, due to fog, preempted the runway and lost control. This is an MIDC operated strip, and ATC is also manned by private company. Due to continuous fog in this area, even Western Navy Command helicopters are not flying for the last few days. Yesha, my colleague, continues to get us more and is tracking more as far as what's happening on ground as well. So, Yesha, initial probes, leading us to believe that it is indeed fog, weather conditions, visibility issues that have led to this crash.
Absolutely. In fact, the initial information that came in pertaining to this very crash spoke about how there was fog, and which is why the pilot in this case could not really get a landing. He had to take a maneuver and come back again at final landing. In fact, pertinent to note is the fact that ILS system at Baramati airport was something that's been spoken about for quite some time. Now that we speak of, the closest airport to Baramati is the Pune airport, from which only specific helicopters, personal charters, get a landing at Baramati. With the kind of technological advancement, also the industrial advancement that Baramati has seen, it had become imperative, and this was something that Ajit Pawar had been time and again speaking about. When you speak of the weather conditions in and around Pune and at Baramati, what was also important at this very point was that there was fog early in the morning, and that was the reason the pilot could not really gauge the landing at that very spot. It was a tabletop landing that we speak of, and as a result of which, considering that the pilot had to manually understand and gauge the entire tabletop, was where the preliminary information suggests is where the helicopter lost control around 100 feet above the ground, and that's where we see that the CCTV also sees that it was in fact a crash landing, and as soon as the helicopter crash landed, it went up in flames. What the preliminary information also suggests is that when the helicopter was landing, Ajit Pawar was thrown off the helicopter, and as a result of it, his body was found a couple of feet away from the in fact crash site, and the identification happened on the basis of his pink jacket. When we speak of this, Ajit Pawar was fondly in several messages known for his pink jacket. People in political discourses, political language, would often refer to the politician wearing pink jacket, and this was something that Ajit Pawar was seen wearing even today. So the identification took place on the basis of pink jacket and the watch that he was wearing. In fact, yes, now that we speak of, several key leaders, several political leaders from across Maharashtra have already headed to Baramati. The family is on its way to Baramati. What we hear, preliminary information coming in, is that most of these leaders have taken a flight to Pune, and from Pune they'll be taking a helicopter to Baramati. So yes, for the next couple of days, Baramati will see all the key political leaders being present there, and rightly so, because people would gather to pay tributes to the beloved leader, Dada, as he was known. And particularly so, Baramati was the place where his heart was. Baramati was the place that he in fact ensured that was in fact molded with his blood and sweat, that we can in fact really speak of, because two people that Baramati would always respect was Sharad Pawar and Ajit Pawar. Sharad Pawar they would credit for bringing Baramati to that stature, and Ajit Pawar for maintaining and helping Baramati grow. Because clearly Baramati from a small town to village had grown into an industrial hub, and that's why for people of Baramati, Ajit Pawar was always Dada, the elder brother that they respect. That we've been speaking about, of course, in several interviews, several discourses, when Ajit Pawar had spoken, in fact when he'd exclusively spoken to us also, about the rift in the family. Some of this rift was not clearly put out in open, apart from the fact that that in the Lok Sabha, Supriya Sule had contested against Sunita Pawar. But this, apart from that, this very rift, or for that matter, the problem in the family was never put out in open, despite the Pawar versus Pawar family drama that we saw playing out. He was always someone who respected and ensured that this very that the family's respect was always played out, and that is clearly what Ajit Pawar had always spoken about, because for the entire Pawar family, it was always about putting Baramatikars and their comfort over everyone else, and which is where today, this morning, Ajit Pawar was headed to Baramati after completing a round of meetings with people right from 6 a.m. in the morning, and that's why he was headed to Baramati for the elections that were due on February 4th. He was in fact heading to address a gathering there, and for people who've always been close to Ajit Pawar, they all remember how Ajit Pawar would be an early riser, and by 6 a.m. he'd already be hitting the ground, trying to interact with people. In fact, what we also remember was that ahead of the elections, whenever his campaigning would take place, Ajit Pawar would have his interviews lined up from 4 a.m. in the morning. 5 a.m. he'd be speaking to reporters. 6 a.m. he'd already be hitting the field, addressing his campaigns, addressing people. and whoever would come, to speak to Ajit Pawar, would bring his query to Ajit Pawar, it would always be resolved. Though he was known to be a person who was a straightforward person, a matter-of-fact person, he'd ensure that there's absolutely, if a person speaks to him, he would have no words minced, absolutely no sugarcoating done. But that straightforward attitude of his was something that often would lead him to be lead to questions being asked on his approach. But for him, that all really didn't matter. He would often say that
possibly
for him,
his
it was a
candidness also
people that
endeared
matter.
him to people because the frank speaking or the plain speaking is appreciated because it has become very uncommon amongst politicians. But we're also getting the first reaction from the company that owned this Learjet aircraft that crashed in Baramati. Let's listen it.
Yeah. And then he carried out a missed approach, after which again he tried to make an attempt from runway 11. This is what I also have no contact with the pilots. They are not there. It is a very unfortunate incident. We are very sad about it. We are trying to first be with the family, solidly with the family who have lost their best next of kins. It's a very unfortunate incident. Primarily, it appears that the pilot could not see the runway, and that's why he would have carried out.
But he has already taken 2 loops. How is it possible that he could not see?
The pilot will carry out a missed approach in case if he's not comfortable to land on the runway.
Yeah.
Very experienced pilot, more than 16,000 hours of experience. Very seasoned. The co-pilot was also 15,000 hours.
Okay.
1,500 hours.
Yeah.
And the captain was very experienced, instructor, examiner material. He was with Sahara, he was with Jetlight, he was with Jet Airways, and he was very experienced on this type of aeroplane also.
But the distance was almost more than 6 kilometers from the runway. Do you think it's possible that he could not have seen it, or there could have been any technical scan?
I really don't know because I was not there.
Because we are talking about the flight data record.
I'm only talking of the information that I have got from the eyewitnesses.
When was the last security check done on the aircraft?
The aircraft was very well maintained. There was absolutely no problem in the aircraft. There was no technical failure in the aircraft.
And
as far as we know.
2023 के इंसिडेंट की रेफरेंस दी जा रही है कि 2023 में भी ऐसी एक हादसा हुई थी, उसमें भी आप लोगों ने शायद लो विजिबिलिटी की बात उठाई थी. अगर आप
उसमें मैम 2023 में जो हुआ था वो बॉम्बे एयरपोर्ट पे हुआ था और उसमें भी बारिश हो रही थी, लो विजिबिलिटी थी, एंड द पायलट आफ्टर टचडाउन स्किडेड ऑफ द रनवे. So that was the incident.
अभी फिलहाल सर जो आप लोगों से डिटेल्स मांगी जा रही हैं उसके रिगार्डिंग क्या अपडेट है पूरा?
मैं देखिए AIB की इन्फॉर्मेशन मैं ना आपको दे सकता हूँ ना मुझे कुछ मालूम है. The DGC is doing the work. So please give us some time to handle first the families who have lost their lives, handle the DGCA, and then we'll get back.
Sir, how many Learjet 45s do you have?
We have 7.
And will you ground them for now?
I don't know. Why should I ground them?
All right, so government officials over there ruling out certain factors. One, of course, being the pilot, the training that the pilot had received. This is what the government officials are maintaining, that the pilot was highly trained, and as of now they are not willing to reveal any information coming in from the DGCA. Equally importantly, on the top of the left side of your screen, you can see Sharad Pawar arriving in Baramati. It is the entire family currently in a state of utter shock and grief. This as they arrive, and you can see Sharad Pawar has arrived in a chopper in Baramati. Latest visuals coming in from Baramati. This is now going to be a place where the entire family is going to be flocking. Important to also remind you that at the time of the crash, Ajit Pawar's wife, Sunetra Pawar, and his son, Parth Pawar, were very much in the national capital when the tragic news reached them. And what we are being told is, as was Sharad Pawar's daughter, Supriya Sule, also in the national capital. They should be in Baramati any time from now, but the aviation body has as of now ruled out any foul play. They are in fact awaiting any kind of report coming in from the DGCA. More importantly, they are saying that there was no possibility of a mechanical failure involved in the aircraft because the aircraft was well surfaced, it was also well maintained. VSR operated Ajit Pawar's plane, as we all know. It looks after the LS-45 jets, and they so far have only 5 air crash as far as the history of the LS-45 jet is concerned. Aviation body has already begun its probe. The tragic Learjet crash in Baramati, which took the life of Maharashtra's longest serving Deputy Chief Minister, that is Ajit Pawar, has shocked and rocked the entire nation as we speak. Those visuals coming in from Baramati are of Sharad Pawar, in fact, arriving in the NCP patriarch, very much in Baramati now. He is in a state of deep shock. His daughter Supriya Sule should also be over there in some time from now. Remember, 5 passengers were on board the plane, including 2 crew members when this crash took place. All occupants of the plane, in fact, received fatal injuries and succumbed. Now, the aviation body is currently at the VSR office, which is the DGCA is also conducting its own probe at the moment. There are several unanswered questions. If there could be a role as far as the tabletop landing was concerned, could the topography have played a role in that crash? Several questions still remain unanswered at the moment, but we all know that the crash actually happened when it was landing. And did visibility also have a role to play? Those are all factors that are currently being probed. Initial reports trickling in had suggested that the visibility was clear, but now reports suggesting otherwise. At the same time, the pilot was extremely well trained and the Learjet was also, in fact, well serviced. In the latest that we are learning is that Sharad Pawar has in fact arrived at the Baramati hospital. Those live visuals coming in over there of the NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar arriving at the hospital where the mortal remains of the Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister are present. Remember, soon after the crash, Ajit Pawar was taken to this hospital in Baramati. Let's quickly go across to Yesha Kotak, who's been tracking the details for us. Yesha, who all are currently at the hospital, and Sharad Pawar, in fact, already arriving there, as we can see?
Absolutely. In fact, early this morning when the information came out, what was important was that the family, before conveying the news to Sharad Pawar, took him to the hospital to ensure that his health is in the right condition, because clearly Sharad Pawar, was someone who was very close to Ajit Pawar. Despite the rift between both the NCPs, was very evident that the Pawar family was still strong together. This was clearly seen in the latest family, just a couple of weeks back. We also saw a family event take place, the engagement ceremony of Ajit Pawar's son, which was where we saw all the family members of the Pawar, be it Sharad Pawar, be it Supriya Sule, be the wife of Sharad Pawar. All of them were clearly present there together as a family. So here, though it was the parties which were divided, the family is always stayed strong together. This morning, when Sharad Pawar was to be taken to Baramati, before that the family ensured that they check on his health condition because of his age, and it was only then that the information of the death of Ajit Pawar was conveyed to Sharad Pawar. From Mumbai was where they.
All right, stay with me, Yesha. I'm sorry to interrupt you. They are getting in breaking inputs. In fact, as we speak, the centre has issued a statement with regards to the crash that has taken the life of Ajit Pawar, Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister. Remember, there were 5 people on that aircraft, and in that statement that has been issued by the centre confirming Ajit Pawar's demise, says Learjet plane with registration VTSSK crashed in Baramati. Government has now confirmed that 5 passengers were on board the plane. That included 2 crew members. Let's quickly go across to Anvit, who brings us those breaking inputs. Anvit, share the details with us now. Any information also being shared with regards to the inquiry now?
See, we are being told that around 8:10 the flight took off, and 9:12 was the time when finally the ATC got information that the crash has taken place. And we have also got a statement officially from the DGCA, which has confirmed that there were 5 people on board along with Ajit Pawar. There was 1 or 2 of his staff and 2 pilots, and all 5 have succumbed in this crash. We are being told there are no survivors, and we are also being told, spoken to senior officials at DGCA, and they have confirmed that Baramati is a tabletop airport, and that is the reason why this crash could possibly have taken place, because there was low visibility at the time of landing. Also, the plane, we have been told, crashed on the tip of the runway much before the touchdown point. So that is also probably low visibility and not making up to the adequate touchdown point. That is really the main reason as to why the incident has taken place. Official inquiry has been lodged into this by the AAIB, and DGC is also overseeing all the probe that is going on. And we short while ago, we also spoke with the DGC chief, and he confirmed the incident. He also confirmed that all 5 on board the plane are dead, and that an inquiry officially has been now been ordered in this.
All right, many thanks to you, Anvik, for bringing us those latest inputs. Let me quickly bring in our guest right now. I'm joined in by Mr. Arvind Sawant, who is the MP of the Shiv Sena UBT faction. Many thanks to you, Mr. Sawant, for joining in deeply tragic hour in which we speak. If you could share your thoughts about Mr. Pawar, as he was rightly known as a Dada of Maharashtra politics, your first thoughts.
You have rightly said it that he was a Dada. It's a really shocking, devastating, The heart is burning right now. I don't know how it has happened, but then it's shocking. As it is, I was MLC in 1996, and then I was knowing him. And somehow, when Honorable Uddhavji Thackeray became the Chief Minister, he was the Finance Minister. And then naturally we came closer a little bit, had a dialogue in a conversation also. And then the way he used to work, I have seen him, I admired him. He was very much bold, tough. He was very tough, bold, and transparent too. If he says yes, he'll do. If he says, sir, it's not possible, then you go to it, it's not possible at all. But he was so helpful and magnanimous. As far as any party, a man from any party approaches him, he never is to politicize the issue. The issue is important, and he is to assist the people, help the people, as and when he is in a position to help them. And then it's really, I have no words to say that. Of late, there was a dispute going on between the ruling parties, within the ruling parties itself, in a coalition. While addressing in Pimpri Chinchwad, while giving the press conference group, he said the BJP has such a huge hunger like a demon, and that the party at that place is most corrupt party in the ruling at People Chinchwad. And that dispute was going on continuously. Somehow he was.
So, Mr. Sawant, we will touch upon the future of the NCP Ajit Pawar faction also in just a bit, but right now important to also remember him for the charismatic politician that he was. You mentioned his grassroots connect. You also spoke about some virtues he had, which was his honesty, the strength of his character, the transparency for which he was known. In fact, from the crash site itself, when the visuals came, the kind of wailing we heard in the background, that goes on to, in fact, only highlight the kind of shock that the people of Baramati and the entire nation are currently confronted with. What is it that made him such a grassroots politician?
He groomed under the guidance of Honorable Sharad Pawar. And the development which has taken place in Baramati, he has got, his contribution is very high over there. And the way he was connected directly to the common man. I used to take a challenge. I know he was taking challenges. Come in, let anybody come. He used to get a lead of 1 lakh votes lead generally in the assembly election. That sort of thing, that sort of a character he was. And he was so popular among the people in Baramati. In fact, he was much popular in Maharashtra too.
True.
Particularly Western Maharashtra, he was very much popular.
Take a moment to also reflect on what this shock is going to be for the Pawar family. In fact, in the latest that's coming
it's like,
Right. Mr. Sharad Pawar has already arrived at the Baramati hospital. Do you think it is the time when Mr. Sharad Pawar will now take Parth under his wings?
Sky is fallen on the Pawar family. The Pawar clan is such that the bondings are very different than any other bonding. Family bondings are there. Even if they were in different parties, but on occasions they used to come together. Let it be celebration or let it be some marriage, whatever it may be, or something wrong with them, but they come together. That's just the Pawar clan is altogether different in Maharashtra. They have set an example how to remain a family, to remain united. After they were coming again back closer to Sharad Pawar Sahab. They decided to share the seats in the Jilla Parishad election also. And I think now only the alternative with them is to that the Honorable Sharad Pawar Sahab is there to guide them, and then the party may go back. I don't know what political, as far as ruling
This is
party
exactly what I was
concerned,
about to
can't-
come to. You know, when you said that, there is perhaps going to be, there was a lot of chatter about Ajit Pawar going back to his uncle. What do you see now for the NCPs, both the NCPs now? Is this going to be also the moment which will perhaps reunite the family, even politically, even though, as you rightly highlighted, that politically they may not have been united, but whenever it came to as a family, they have been close-knit?
Unite the family, it will unite the party also. But then I cannot guarantee about the members of the party.
Okay.
I know, these are the emotional period. Sentiments are very high right now. So it will not happen immediately.
Mr. Sawant, my last question to you. I need to quickly go over to some breaking inputs. Are you satisfied with the DGCA's inquiry, or are you also going to be urging for a high-level probe?
I demand that the very serious inquiry should be done under the CBI, or somebody should, that sort of authority should go, not the DGCA and others. See what they are given in Ahmedabad incident. 279 people died. What is the report? Tell me. Whether the aviation minister resigned? No. Nobody takes the onus. That's the crux of the act. I won't say the other word.
Okay. Perhaps we'll have to leave it now for the opposition to demand that as well. But many thanks to you, Mr. Sawant, for joining in this hour of grief for the entire nation. It's a very dark day today. We've lost, in fact, a very stalwart of a politician today, and the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Going to quickly go across to some breaking inputs coming in. Sequence of event, in fact, leading to the accident. In fact, what we are also being told is Baramati is an uncontrolled airfield, and the traffic information is in fact provided by the instructors to the pilot from the flying training organizations at Baramati. As per the statement of the person manning the ATC, there is a follow-up of the sequence of events that has been accessed by us here at CNN News 18. So what we can tell you is today itself, on 28th, the aircraft VISS first came in contact with Baramati at around 8:18 a.m. to be sharply precise. Now, the aircraft's next call was made at 30 nm inbound to Baramati, and they were released by Pune approach. They were advised to descend in visual meteorological conditions at pilot's discretion. Next, the aircraft reported on the final approach of runway 11, and the runway was not in sight to them, which clearly indicates there was poor visibility. Now, they initiated a go-around in the first approach. After the go-around, the aircraft was asked about its position, and crew reported on final approach of runway 11. Now, this is a very crucial point over here, which should be studied very carefully, that the crew responded and reported on the final approach, which was the second approach that they had to make because of low visibility. They were asked to report runway in sight. They replied, runway is currently not in sight. Will call when runway is in sight. Again, an indication that there was poor visibility. After a few seconds, they reported that the runway is in sight. The aircraft was cleared to finally land on the runway at 8:43 a.m. However, they did not give a read back of the landing clearance. Next, the ATC saw the flames around the threshold of runway 11 at 8:44 IST. So, as you can see, there was in fact a clearance that was given at 8:43 a.m. and at 8:44 IST is when that the ATC discovered there were flames around the threshold, when there was roughly 4 minutes of silence. Let's quickly go across to Yesha Kotak, who's going to shed more light on these details that have been accessed by us at CNN News 18. So Yesha, clearly what's now been established from the ATC, the word that we are getting in is that firstly, the Mayday call was made after the second approach.
Secondly, there was only a difference of 1 minute between 8:43 and 8:44 a.m. IST that the ATC was able to establish the fact that the crash has actually happened, but in fact they were getting no response for quite a few minutes.
Absolutely. In fact, these details come in. We've in fact gotten the information that there was clearly a fog, as a result of which the pilot could not attempt the first landing. He had to maneuver and then come back. The CCTV footage that we see show at 8:45 shows that the plane has crashed at the location close to Baramati. So amidst all of this, clearly the information that comes in from our sources indicate that there was a mayday call that was made at 8:43. This was, in fact, it could be assumed that the second time when the pilot was
I'm so sorry to interrupt you there. In fact, I must inform our viewers as we speak. Finally, the wife of the late Ajit Pawar has arrived. Sunetra Pawar, in fact, being greeted over there in a very tragic hour for the entire Pawar Parivar over there. As you can see, Sunetra Pawar has finally arrived. She was in the national capital when the tragic news of her husband's demise arrived, and she was accompanied by her son Parth Pawar, and they both have in fact arrived in Baramati. What it appears to be is in fact the hospital is what we're being told, and Sharad Pawar just minutes ago has already arrived at the hospital in Baramati, where the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar still are present. And Sunetra Pawar finally in Baramati. She was in the national capital, as was Sharad Pawar's daughter and the cousin of Ajit Pawar, Supriya Sule. They all rushed to Baramati soon after the news was broken to them. What we are also being told is that Sunetra Pawar is accompanied by their son Parth Pawar at the moment. Latest visuals over there. She's of course inconsolable and grieving, in a state of shock. This is a deeply tragic day. In fact, what we can see and tell you is that she's also accompanied by the entire Pawar Parivar. She's being greeted by members of the family and the party members of NCP, both the factions, as we can tell you. But she's inconsolable and in a state of deep shock. We all know that this was not expected to happen at all. The police presence also there, tight security. In fact, several media personnel also trying to flank the family. But Sunetra Pawar, as you can see, is extremely, deeply inconsolable. It's a state of deep shock. And we are also being told is that Supriya Sule, all right, in those visuals, what it appears to be is Supriya Sule also. And let me quickly go across to Aman, who's also joining us live from the newsroom. Aman, if you can also share your thoughts. This is indeed a moment of deep grief for the entire Pawar Parivar. But as many are saying that the family stands tall in this hour of grief.
Well, absolutely, and it's a sad moment. It's a very poignant moment, I would say, for the Pawar family, especially after the Mr. Sharad Pawar, Mr. Ajit Pawar seem to be also becoming closer, sinking their differences in the recent municipal elections in Maharashtra. We had seen them on the stage, in fact, together after a long time when they were fighting the municipal elections together in Pune, and that was a sight which made many speculate that maybe in the days and the months to come, the Pawars could again reunite. So that had been a major, political story also in Maharashtra, and Mr. Ajit Pawar, arguably one of the longest serving deputy chief ministers, also leaves a big void in the politics of Maharashtra. What's the way ahead also for now his party? What shape it takes? Will it merge with the original NCP? Will the family come together? Remains to be seen. But of course, this is a completely unexpected, untimely passing away of a tall political leader. And we are hearing that the last rites will now be carried out tomorrow in Baramati. We could see all top leaders from Maharashtra as well as top dignitaries and ministers from the centre also arrive in Baramati tomorrow for the last rites of Ajit Pawar. And these are poignant scenes. The wife of Ajit Pawar, who's also an MP in the parliament. In fact, she was in Delhi today because the parliament session was starting today, and she and Sharad Pawar and others, she along with Praful Patel, who's also MP in Delhi, we were present. They have together left for, along with Supriya Sule from Delhi, they all left for Baramati today, and we see these visuals of them arriving in Baramati. Of course, this is something that was totally unexpected and untimely, as I'm saying, and Sharad Pawar has also reached Baramati now. He landed in Pune a short while back from Mumbai. So the whole family is going to be there today to grieve over this untimely loss.
Aman, any word you're getting in from your sources within the Mahayuti in terms of the last rites of Ajit Pawar? Because given the significance of Baramati for the Pawar Parivar, can we expect the last rites to be taking place over here as well in Baramati, and what Baramati means to Ajit Pawar?
Yes, most probably that's what we're hearing, and our colleague Payal Mehta is bringing that piece of information that the last rites will be carried out tomorrow in Baramati. It will be a state funeral, so all the arrangements for that will be done today, and we'll see top Maharashtra's leaders already reaching Baramati today, and the final rites of Mr. Ajit Pawar will be carried out tomorrow. That is what we are learning, because it will be a state funeral, so adequate arrangements also need to be made for that. The Maharashtra government has already declared state mourning for the next 3 days. So we'll see top ministers also from Delhi, we are hearing, will be going to Baramati from the NDA, from other parties, to participate in this last rite ceremony of Mr. Ajit Pawar.
There's already a sense of deep shock and loss for not just NCP as a united faction at the moment, whether it is that of Ajit Pawar or of Sharad Pawar's, but the overall Mahayuti alliance. If you can also take us through the kind of reactions we've seen. Devendra Fadnavis over there, of course, referring to him as the Dada of Maharashtra politics, and at the same time Prime Minister Modi also remembering Ajit Pawar as a politician with the grassroots connect.
Absolutely, Mr. Ajit Pawar was an integral part of the Mahayuti. We have seen how the three allies, Mr. Ajit Pawar, Mr. Eknath Shinde and Devendra Fadnavis, worked as a team in the Maharashtra Assembly election, which happened about over a year and a half back, and registered a thumping victory. In fact, all three parties performed very well in those elections, and Ajit Pawar took oath again as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra after that big win. I remember that press conference where Mr. Ajit Pawar, Mr. Shinde and Mr. Fadnavis were seated together, where Ajit Pawar's humor also came to the front when he said that I am taking oath as the Deputy Chief Minister. I don't know about Eknath Shinde, and Eknath Shinde remarked that Dada has a lot of experience of taking oath both in the morning as well as the evening, taking a jibe at Mr. Ajit Pawar for taking that famous oath early in the morning along with Devendra Fadnavis after the Maharashtra Assembly elections had changed the alliances altogether. So Ajit Pawar has been a veteran of, he was also the eldest in fact amongst all the three leaders. He's elder to Mr. Fadnavis and Mr. Eknath Shinde as well. So that is why he was known as the Dada of Maharashtra politics. His untimely passing away is a big blow, I would say, also to the Mahayuti, because this alliance had been working together. So it would be interesting to see how Mahayuti...
Before I also bring in our guest right now, Aman, important to also touch upon how the BMC election would also be remembered as a swan song of Ajit Pawar, where the family also united as a whole on the political front.
Absolutely, and it was quite a moment that in Pune and another one particular municipal election, the Pawars decided to sing their differences and fight those elections together, though they did not achieve the success they were aiming for through the unification. And still you saw the BJP perform well, in fact, in those areas as well. But still it was quite a moment, because you saw for the first time after many years Supriya Sule, Ajit Pawar, Sharad Pawar together on the same stage at a press conference in Pune when they announced that they will fight these elections together. Mr. Ajit Pawar also gave many interviews post that, saying that the differences between him and Sharad Pawar were shrinking, the families were getting together back again. So a lot was being hoped that maybe in the coming months there could be a change maybe in the political equations of the state, but Ajit Pawar was always clear that he would be a part of the Mahayuti. So many things and many in fact questions have gone unanswered, I would say, about the political future of Maharashtra with this untimely death of Mr. Ajit Pawar.
Stay with me, Aman. I'm also joined in by our guest right now. In fact, joined in by Captain Amit Singh. Captain Singh, I'd like to begin with your thoughts first, and are there any questions that are currently unanswered according to you and are still vexing factors? Because first it was being said that the visibility couldn't have played a role, but now it does seem that visibility was perhaps also a factor. Then it's the topography which is also being questioned. What is it that you can share with us?
No, right now we don't know anything because we have no data. So we don't even know what the current visibility was there at the time of the accident. And
no, so what we can tell you from the word that's coming from the aviation ministry, we are being told is that the first approach failed only because they could not see the landing strip, and that is why they had to make a second attempt. So visibility clearly was a factor which has been in fact confirmed by the aviation ministry.
So if the visibility was a factor, the approach should not have been cleared by the air traffic control. There is no landing aid in terms of an instrument landing system at Baramati. So what kind of approach? They were doing a visual approach. Visual approach means at all times you have to have the runway in sight. So if runway has to be kept in sight, it has to be visual. So that is the basic definition of visual approach. If runway was not in sight, then how did the air traffic controller clear the aircraft to land in the first attempt and in the second attempt? So, and you have to appreciate that the sun, the rising sun on the easterly side obscures the visibility, and if there is slight amount of haze, then there could be possibility of illusions, and the depth perception goes because there is no reference on the ground, very little reference on the ground, and these are high performance jets, high speed approaches. And adequate training has to be carried out. India does not have the infrastructure for training on these aircraft. These pilots have to go abroad to US to do their training. And
so Captain Singh, stay with me. In fact, I also have Aman with me from the newsroom who will shed more light in terms of the key takeaways of the word that we have received from the aviation ministry. Aman, take us through the key points that have emerged so far in the preliminary investigation.
Well, Akanksha, I have with me the government statement issued by the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and it describes the 26 minutes in which the flight first came in contact with the Baramati ATC and then to the moment it crashed, and these make for rather, I would say, pretty mysterious kind of a reading. Very clearly, the government statement says that on 28 January 2026, the aircraft first came in contact with Baramati at 8:18 a.m. And the aircraft's next call was about 30 minutes north mile inbound to Baramati. They were released by the Pune approach. The crew.
साथ 4 और लोग भी थे प्लेन में, तो उन सारे परिवारों को अपने condolences देता हूँ. 2 पायलट थे, क्रू थे और PSO भी थे उनके साथ. और अजित दादा से जैसे आपने बोला, हमारी भी काफ़ी मुलाकातें रही हैं पिछले 18 महीने जब से मैं मंत्री बना हूँ. और ये एक यंग मिनिस्टर होने के नाते वो काफ़ी गाइडेंस भी हमें देते थे. और काफ़ी बार महाराष्ट्र की चर्चा जब होती थी और मैं और मोहल भाई हम दोनों भी जब साथ में मिलते थे, तो काफ़ी अच्छी गाइडेंस, क्योंकि उनका जो एक्सपीरियंस रहा है पब्लिक सर्विस में और ख़ास तौर पर जिस ग्रास रूट लेवल पे पब्लिक के साथ, खासकर गरीब लोगों के साथ जिस तरह वो खड़े रहे और उनके साथ जो उन्होंने काम किया, तो ये केवल हमारे लिए नहीं बल्कि पूरे महाराष्ट्र के लिए ये बहुत बड़ी लॉस है और इर्रिपेरेबल लॉस है, इर्रिप्लेसेबल लॉस भी है. काफ़ी बार हमने जब उनसे बात करी तो हमें भी वो अनुभव मिला कि कितना वो प्रैक्टिकलिटी से और ग्राउंड रियलिटी से जुड़े हुए नेता हैं. उस तरह के नेता भी आजकल मिलना बहुत मुश्किल है और महाराष्ट्र के लिए जिस तरह उन्होंने काम किया है वो हम सबके लिए आदर्शनीय रहेगा. और ख़ासकर अभी जो एक्सीडेंट जो हुआ है उसका जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन उसको भी हमने शुरू कर दिया है. तुरंत DGCA और AIB की टीम भी आई है और जो प्रिलिमिनरी इन्वेस्टिगेशन या प्रिलिमिनरी जो समाचार हमें मिला है उसमें इतनी जानकारी थी कि जब वो लैंड करना चाहते थे सुबह करीब 8:48 AM के आसपास, तो उस समय विजिबिलिटी थोड़ा पुअर था उधर. और जब ATC बारामती से उनका जो कांटेक्ट हो रहा था फ्लाइट के लिए पायलट से, तो ATC वालों ने पूछा कि क्या रनवे साइट में है, तो उनके तरफ से आया कि रनवे साइट में अभी नहीं है. तो उसके बाद उन्होंने एक गो अराउंड भी किया. गो अराउंड करने के बाद फिर से एक बार कोशिश करी कि हमारे ATC से जो बारामती में जो FTO हैंडल्ड ATC है उनसे वार्तालाप चल रही थी। तो उस समय जब दोबारा लैंड करने आए तब भी उनसे पूछा गया था कि विजिबिलिटी है कि नहीं रनवे का। तो उसके बाद पहले तो उनका समाधान नहीं आया, फिर उसके बाद आया कि विजिबिलिटी है। तो लैंडिंग क्लियरेंस जैसी ATC ने दिया उसके बाद तुरंत देखा गया कि ये एक्सीडेंट हुआ है। बहुत दुखद घटना है। तो इसके ऊपर और जानकारी हमें मिलनी चाहिए। इन्वेस्टिगेशन पूरी तरह से ट्रांसपेरेंट और अकाउंटेबल वे में हम करेंगे। बट उससे पहले तो मैं इतना कहना चाहूँगा कि ये बात बोलना कि अजीत दादा अब नहीं रहे, उसके लिए बहुत 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 दुख होता है। और मैं उनके जो प्यार करने वाले लोग हैं, कार्यकर्ता हैं और उनके परिवार के लोग हैं, उन सबके प्रति कंडोलेंसेस व्यक्त करता हूँ। ठीक है, थैंक यू। Like I said, from the preliminary investigation, it looks like the visibility seems to be the issue. So unless we do a thorough investigation, we can't properly tell what has been the exact incident. But this is whatever the facts that I've said till now is the conversation between the ATC and the pilots.
सर कुछ कमेटी वगैरह बिठाई जाएगी पूरी जांच के
AIB
लिए?
itself ही thorough investigation करने वाली एक संस्था है और उनके पास पूरी व्यवस्था है इस तरह की चीजों की जानकारी करने के लिए और वो ऑलरेडी साइट पहुंच रहे हैं।
थैंक यू।
A heavy heart, in fact, the Aviation Minister Rammohan Naidu making that announcement and also sharing the details of the preliminary investigation so far. Aman and Captain Amit Singh continue to stay with us. So I quickly go back to Aman. Aman, if you can share more details of that preliminary investigation that was being referred to by the Aviation Minister himself.
Well, Akanksha, clearly the aviation minister there is saying that the major cause seems to be low visibility. He's saying that there was an issue maybe with the visibility. That is the preliminary report that he's pointing out, and the government statement I have also makes for raising many questions. I think basically the government statement is saying that the crew inquired about the winds and the visibility, and they were informed that the winds were calm and visibility was 3,000 meters. That is what the government statement is saying. Next, the aircraft reported on the final approach of the runway was not in sight to them. So firm 3,000 meter visibility to the runway not being in sight to them raises many more questions. They initiated a go around. After the go around, the aircraft was asked its position. Crew reported on the final approach. They were asked to report the runway in sight. They replied the runway is currently not in sight, and they will call when the runway is in sight. So even on the second approach, the plane is saying, the crew is saying that the runway is not in sight for them. Ultimately, after a few seconds, this report says that they reported that the runway is in sight, and that is when the aircraft was cleared to land on the runway at 8:43 a.m. But they did not give a read back of this landing clearance. So that is also very strange that no read back comes of the landing clearance. Our next, the ATC, just a minute after that, sees the flames at the threshold of runway at 8:44 a.m. So within a minute of the aircraft being cleared to land, the aircraft has crashed without clearly any mayday call. So this all is raising even more questions over the entire aircraft crash which has happened, because clearly from 3,000 meters, the visibility being informed to them, to the aircraft saying twice that it can't see the runway, and then it immediately after a few seconds saying it can see the runway, only then it is clear to land, but there is no mayday call and the aircraft just crashes ahead of this tabletop runway. All this is raising even more questions.
I want to quickly bring in Captain Amit Singh, who continues to stay with us. So Captain Singh, your thoughts? It was only after a nod. All right, let's also listen into what Mr. Muralidharan has to say. I'm going to come back to Mr. Singh in just a
त्यांनी सुद्धा सकाळपासून सगळी माहिती घेत आहेत. आम्ही एकत्रित जी माहिती घेतो त्याच्यावरनं हे आहे की प्रथमदर्शनी तरी थोडा विजिबिलिटीचा काहीतरी प्रॉब्लेम होता असं दिसतंय. बारामती ATC आणि पायलटमध्ये जो काही संवाद झाला त्याच्यामध्ये जी काय माहिती मिळते त्या माहितीमध्ये हे दिसतंय की सुरुवातीला विजिबिलिटीचा प्रॉब्लेम आहे म्हणून 2 वेळा 3 वेळा दादांचं प्लेन पुन्हा एकदा फेरी मारून आलं आणि मग लँड झालं. त्याच्यामध्ये प्रथमदर्शनी असं वाटतंय, पण AIB ची आमची टीम निघाली ती बारामतीमध्ये दाखल होतीये. DGCने सुद्धा याचं जे काही प्रसिद्धीपत्रक काढलं त्यामध्ये सुद्धा आता असंच म्हटलंय, पण अंतिम जे काही आपण निष्कर्ष काढू ते AIB ची टीम तिथे पोहोचेल. त्यानंतर जो काय तपास होईल तर निष्पक्षपणे निश्चित ते मिनिस्ट्रीमधनं असेल, DGCI असेल, AIB असेल, आमची सगळी माणसं इथं काम करणारच आहे. पण सगळ्यात मला असं वाटतं की अति दुःख देणारी, मनाला वेदना देणारी ही सगळी घटना आहे. पुन्हा तेच बनेल की दादांशिवाय पुन्हा या जिल्ह्याचं राजकारण, महाराष्ट्राचं राजकारण हे अपंगच आहे. त्यामुळे त्यांच्यासाठी बाकी कुठले शब्द नाहीत. मला ते धाडसही होत नाही की त्यांच्याबद्दल मी श्रद्धांजली असा कुठला शब्द वापरावा. महानगरपालिकेची निवडणूक झाल्यानंतर सुद्धा आमच्या संवाद झाला. आणि बघा, मी त्या काळात सुद्धा अगदी निवडणुकीच्या प्रचाराची शिगेला होतं. त्यावेळेस सुद्धा ज्यावेळेस मला विचारलं जातं की अजितदादांबद्दल तुमचं काय मत, मी तुम्ही कुठेही रेकॉर्ड दावा, मी तेव्हाही म्हटलं की या महाराष्ट्रातला असा नेता आहे ज्याची प्रशासनावरती अत्यंत घट्ट पकड आहे. त्यांना ज्या वेळेला मुरलीधरबद्दल विचारलं तेव्हा तेही असे म्हणा की एक चांगला कार्यकर्ता.
All right. In fact, that was a word coming in from Muralidhar Mohol. But right now, we are bringing to you these shots of Sunetra Pawar, who's also an MP. And remember, she was in the national capital when the news of that tragic crash reached her, and she's accompanied by Supriya Sule, as we can see in these visuals, as she's arrived in Baramati just moments ago, accompanied by her son. Completely devastated Sunetra Pawar and Supriya Sule, in fact, being consoled by family members. You can see Parth Pawar also accompanying his mother. They were in the national capital when the tragic news arrived over there. As we all know, it was day one of the parliament session before the budget session. That is why Sunetra Pawar was very much in New Delhi at the time. And those latest visuals we are bringing to you of Sunetra Pawar accompanied by Supriya Sule, the daughter of Sharad Pawar, and also the cousin of Ajit Pawar. And even though both the families were politically divided in two factions now, what the word you will learn is that they remained a united front, even if they were not politically united. But more importantly, the swan song for Ajit Pawar was, of course, the acid test during the BMC polls in Pune, Chinchwad. Quickly go across to Yesha, who continues to stay with us, bringing us more details. So, Yesha, Muralidhar Mohol and the Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu, all of them sharing their condolences, but deeply heartbreaking visuals, in fact, of Sunetra Pawar grieving her departed husband in a complete state of shock. I'm sure that's the sentiment for Baramati as well.
Absolutely. In fact, when we speak of Sunetra Pawar, here clearly she had the support of her husband Ajit Pawar, who was someone who was loved by Baramatikars. Not only Ajit Pawar, but the entire Pawar family was someone Baramatikars respected, loved, and that is a kind of that's the kind of sentiment that the Baramatikars hold for Sharad Pawar as well. But here, when it comes to Sunetra Pawar, who's just getting her hold, in at Baramati, she herself, would visit several small villages as she was being guided by Ajit Pawar. And when it comes to a tragic death like this, something that's so unexpected, has of course left her as well as the entire family disturbed. When you speak of Sunetra Pawar and Parth Pawar, throughout the last couple of years, after both the NCPs had split, we'd seen how the entire family had gotten active in politics under the guidance of Ajit Pawar. Rightly so, not only for the family but also for both the factions of the NCP. Ajit Pawar was someone who would guide people under whose guidance, several of these key political leaders have grown, and that's where that kind of sentiment that comes in, not only for the family but for those who've been tall leaders of NCP. They've referred, stating that Ajit Pawar was like a father figure to them, and that is why he was also fondly called Dada, as elder brother who would help people grow, and not only the people of people within politics, but also people of Baramati who respected Ajit Pawar for working for them on the ground. Yes.
So the word coming in is that the last rites of Mr. Pawar will be performed tomorrow at 11 a.m. in Baramati. We all know that it is the Pawar stronghold, and as you also highlighted what this loss means for the people of Baramati as well. But Yesha, if you can take us through who all are currently present from the Pawar Parivar, at the same time from the Mahayuti Alliance as well.
So yes, when it comes to Pawar Parivar, we've of course seen Sharad Pawar and his wife have already reached Baramati. Apart from that, Sunitha Pawar, Parth Pawar, Supriya Sule.
All right, we seem to have lost that audio connect with Yesha, but let's quickly go across to Simran, who's joining me live on the broadcast. She's in fact stationed at the VSR office. Remember, there's going to be pressure now mounted on VSR. It is the operator of the Learjet as well. Simran, if you can take us through what is happening over there, because we are also being told is that the DGCA for its inquiry will also be arriving at the VSR office.
Well, absolutely. As in fact, let me just show you through the visuals right now. I am at the VSR Ventures Private Limited office in the national capital here in Mahipalpur, where the officials from the AAIB have just arrived. Just a short while ago, two more officials rather, have arrived at the Ventures Private Limited of the VSR, where VK Singh is also inside the very office. And now in fact, as VSR director, VK Singh has also given a statement to the media, and earlier also confirmed that he had this fleet that has 18 charter flights, and one of them is the one that has crashed, and Ajit Pawar was one of them. The two directors that are named in the company is VK Singh and his son Rohit Singh as well. And now the AIB officials have come here. Two more officials have arrived earlier as well. Two officials actually at first did enter into the premises of the office, and now the questioning, or in fact the scrutiny of the data and how exactly the company directors and the conversation.
So Simran, what are those questions that the AAIB officials will be looking to find answers to?
Well, absolutely. As in fact, the probe has been initiated, and officials who have started to come in, they are going to look at a larger picture connecting how exactly this particular jet and this particular charter exactly had some faults. As in the statement, when we listen to it, VK Singh has said that due to the poor visibility, this is in fact likely to be happening in the first of the statements so far, because VK Singh is not responding to media questions right now, but initially he did respond that as the investigators from the AIB are going to look into it. So obviously this is going to be now expanding and also getting into a broader sense of how exactly this particular charter had any faults. There is going to be a complete inquiry given into the kind of background check and the ATC information that it received. So that all is going to be a part of the bigger probe that the officials have also now taken in consideration after they have arrived. More officials continue to in fact come here, as we have been here for quite some time, and we had seen officials coming in from this very gate. This is the office of the VSR company that has the VSR Ventures Private Limited in the national capital. It has 18 jets as per the DGCA database, and one of them is the one that has now crashed this morning into unfortunate tragic in Baramati as well.
All right, stay with me, Simran, because a host of questions still remain unanswered. But in fact, to take our viewers who are just tuning in, massive outpouring of grief outside the Baramati hospital. Those live visuals we are bringing to you. As you can see, the cadres of the NCP have gathered in full force, this amid heightened security. And just a while ago, what we can tell you, those shots in fact of Sharad Pawar arriving in Baramati. On the left side of your screen, you can see an inconsolable Sunitha Pawar accompanied by Supriya Sule over there, and the son Parth Pawar as well. Yesha Kotak continues to stay with us. So Yesha, take us through what's happening right now. What we are also being told is that the AAIB officials have already arrived at the VSR Ventures office here in Delhi, which of course, as we all know, is the operator. The role that VSR has played, and what is it that the probe will now be focusing on as far as VSR is concerned?
Absolutely. In fact, preliminary information that was shared, this is the first information that came in of the crash, has in fact further wanted to confirm that there was no fault on the part of management, but further investigation is underway. Now, here clearly, what's also important to note is that while these officials have reached the VSR office, they want to further understand the technical aspects of the aircraft, also the details about the pilot, the co-pilot, which who were managing this very flight. All of these details would in fact be accessed. Apart from that, the last servicing that was done, all the technical aspects of the flight would be crucial to understand this very investigation. Now, clearly, the Mayday call that came in would in fact only be confirmed on the basis of the black box that we recovered. But as we also know that the AIB officials have also headed towards Baramati to take a stock and to understand the ground reality, to understand what went wrong on ground at Baramati. Parallelly, we also have to take information from those who were present, from the operator as well. So yes, on both sides is where the investigation is thoroughly on. We've of course also seen how the chief minister Devendra Fadnavis went ahead to mention.
Stay with me, Yesha. Let me quickly bring in Simran, who is currently at the Mahipalpur office of VSR. So, Simran, the information we have been able to access, and that's also been reiterated by the Aviation Minister Ramohan Naidu, who's gone on to say that the DGCA has clarified that no serious mistake was found against the company in the previous investigation. More information will be given in the matter after investigation. Yet the AAIB officials are at the VSR office. What can you tell us about VSR as an operator, the reputation of Learjet also in terms of its make?
Well, absolutely. In fact, this is the company that has two offices here in the national capital. Let me give you a little brief about it. One of the office is from where we are reporting live, and the other is the aero engineering that is in Vasant Kunj. And at this office, VK Singh had earlier reached, and now when in fact the AIB officials entered this morning after the unfortunate news has come in of the crash which involved Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar, then the questioning or in fact the statement that AIB had already came here to also know of had started. Then more officials from the MHA also started coming in, and now importantly the questions that need to be raised to looking at the severity of the cause of the crash also pertain to the black box. And as the inquiry has been initiated, there have been teams that have been sent to Baramati as well to understand from the ground at the crash site what really could have caused this unfortunate tragic crash as well. Now the AIB officials, in pertaining to the reputation as well as the history of the VSR Venture Private Limited, will be looking into, as Rohit Singh, who's the son of VK Singh, is also named as a director in this company. And the DGCA database has given this information that as far as this registered fleet is concerned, they have a total of 18 of them. But in this particular case, where we speak of the cause and the larger reason why this unfortunate tragic crash has happened, the inquiry that has initiated will also look into how exactly the other charters that have previously been deployed, and the DGCA has the information about it, they have also been operating, and what were the fault lines and how exactly all the charters were maintained under the checks as well. So all of that will be looked into consideration. But so far as this matter has already in fact raised serious concerns given what really must have prompted, VK Singh in the initial statement said that the pilot must not have been able to see the runway. So that is also an element which will need to be now looked further into by the investigators, whether they are from the higher official authority or the AIB as well. After the recovery of the black box, most of the questions will also be answered, given into what really caused, what was the last minute glitch that really promulgated this sort of accident that has claimed the life of 5 people, including Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar.
Imran, if one were to look at the factors that are currently being probed and studied, also one of course is the visibility, which could have had a role to play. At the same time, the tabletop nature of the runway, the topography that's also being studied. So share with us those big factors, the questions rather, that still remain unanswered. Simran, can you hear me? All right,
yes, can you please repeat the question?
The factors that are currently being studied by the AAIB, whether it is to do with the visibility or even say the topography of the runway.
Well, absolutely. There are many factors as far as this concern is regarding perhaps about how exactly the glitch or the issue that must have caused either through the pilot or in the runway or actually in the aircraft as well. So all of these need to be looked into complete comprehension, and that is why, you know, which the charter was in fact registered with the VSR. So their history is also going to be looked at. It is very important for the investigators to go through all the kind of the charters that they had deployed earlier, all the fleet, and through which checks did they actually function into. And let me also show you and give you a glimpse of how exactly the office is right now also under heavy scrutiny. There were also officials coming in at this point of time, and some of the officials have now left through the back gate, which essentially could also mean that in this entire matter more questioning is rather right now expected, given the severity of the case and also the huge concern as to what really had prompted, as we speak of the factors, the big questions that could be possibly now probed into. We can also understand so far that this is a very preliminary time when we cannot have the complete information given. Now the investigators have just reached and the inquiry has just begun. So the investigators are collecting the information from the VSR Ventures Limited as to what exactly was their database reflecting into the technicalities of the jet, and also how exactly the other charters, the other fleet set that they had operated, and the data that they had shared with the DGCA, as both the company directors Rohit Singh and VK Singh are trained pilots themselves. So that is why, you know, the larger concern over the maintenance of how exactly these fleet of the charters that used to be operated is going to be
interesting
looked
you
at.
talk about the maintenance, because Simran, the word coming in from Ram Mohan Naidu himself is that this was a very well maintained aircraft, but it's also important for them to now be studying the history of the air crash involved with this operator, which so far is only 5, with the last one being September of 2023 in Mumbai.
Absolutely, as in fact what we also know so far as the statement has come in, it confirms that this was a well-maintained aircraft, but this Ventures Private Limited Learjet 45 aircraft had the registration of VTSSK, which was involved in this accident. So far also has many larger concerns that have not been answered, as the official information that we have accessed is reflecting that this company had many other charter that were registered under its also name. And now, as I can just show you, there are more officials that have just also left from this very entry gate, and the hectic activity here at the office continues to maintain, as there is a concern and more officials have started to come in. Now, what is the conversation that is exactly happening, on what really points? That is something that the AAIB investigators, after they come out, could also be understood, or VK Singh, when he actually also addresses the media with these concerns that have not been answered so far, is also going to tell. So far the information that we have on record and is confirmed is that the statement recording that is being done, and also they are going to look into the larger aspects also, the concerns with the DGCA records also that the company had registered. So all of that is now going to be looked into, and what really largely caused this kind of an accident, and what was the history? Is this not safe enough, or in fact what really caused? Was this a problem that happened and occurred at the last minute? There was a visibility factor, or there was a problem in the aircraft as well? All of that is going to be looked in complete perspective, as well as we see that there is activity happening. Some people that have been leaving from this office, and most of in fact these officials that are
bringing us the latest input on the Learjet crash that took away the life of the Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar. What she's telling us, she's in fact currently stationed at the VSR office in Mahipalpur in the national capital. The AARB officials who are conducting that probe have finally left the office. We are also being told is that the VSR owner, Mr. VK Singh, has also been interrogated by the officials. Equally importantly, on your screen, we are bringing you that moment of the crash that took place at 8:45 a.m., that precise moment. At the same time, heart-wrenching visuals, in fact, on the left side of your screen, as Sunetra Pawar arrives in Baramati, completely heartbroken, devastated is the word, in fact, to see. If you can see even Supriya Sule over there, extremely inconsolable. Parth Pawar accompanying his mother. Remember, Sunetra was in the national capital when the tragic news arrived, and she had to rush to Baramati. Just a while ago, even Sharad Pawar, the NCP Supremo, has arrived. They all are in the hospital currently, where the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar are placed. And what we are also being told is that at 11 a.m. IST tomorrow, that the last rites of the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra will be performed. And outside the hospital, you can see, in fact, there's massive outpouring of grief from not just the cadres of the NCP Ajit Pawar faction, but also of Sharad Pawar and even members of the Mahayuti. Ministers are all now rushing to Baramati to convey their condolences in person. On the left side of your screen, as you can see, these are visuals from inside the hospital where the Pawars have finally gathered. They stand united in this deeply tragic hour of grief. In fact, the last swan song for Ajit Pawar was the BMC test, in which he did join hands with his uncle, the NCP Sharad Pawar faction, and the acid test, of course, was Pune Chintwad. But more importantly, he will be remembered as the Dada of Maharashtra politics, the man who held the maximum positions as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, one-time MP and a 6-time MLA of Maharashtra, that Ajit Pawar was. He will be remembered as a stalwart, not just in Maharashtra, but for the entire country. Somebody who was known to be transparent, somebody known to speak his mind, and was indeed an asset. Let's quickly go across to Mr. Ashok Chavan. Mr. Chavan, it's a deeply tragic hour in which we speak. First of all, our condolences to all of you over there. But first, I'd like to begin with your thoughts. Mr. Chavan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
We speak in a deeply tragic hour, Mr. Chavan, but I'd like to begin with your thoughts. How would you like to recall Ajit Pawar, the man, the politician, the Dada of Maharashtra politics?
You see, this is really a sad moment for all of us in Maharashtra and all over the country, that we have lost a very dynamic leader like Mr. Ajit Pawar, whom we were regular in touch. We grew together in Maharashtra politics. He was a member of the Legislative Assembly. I too was a member of the Legislative Assembly. He was a minister under several chief ministers. I have also worked as a minister under several chief ministers. Ultimately, when I became the chief minister, he was a very senior minister in my cabinet. So this was a very close relationship which we shared. And as I have seen him very closely, I know his administrative capacities, his dynamic nature. He was a workaholic. He used to work from 6 o'clock in the morning to almost midnight. And his quick decision making, never was there any delay in his decision making process, whether it be administrative matters, whether it be political matters. And I have seen him in the cabinet as a colleague. That grasping powers was excellent, knowledge of every subject as a minister, not only of his department, but other department as well. He used to give his opinion to the then chief ministers, what he thought was good for Maharashtra. So we have seen him very closely working in various capacities, and also as a leader of the NCP, and definitely after the split of the party too. He has been very hard-working to bring up his party and help his colleagues to contest elections, win the elections, try to guide them. That was his friendly nature which he had, and of course he was very strict whenever matters came to his knowledge which he was not in agreement with. He used to straight away turn down such issues where he thought which would not be proper for the party.
All right,
So
stay with me, Mr. Chavan.
working very
Stay with me. I'm also joined in by CNN News 18's Anand Narasimhan, who would also like to join in the conversation. All right, so Mr. Chavan is over there. Mr. Chavan, all right, Anand, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ashok Chavanji. Namaste. Thank you for your time. This must be very, very hard on you. When you have had a very, very long association beyond political aspects, personally, you are very, very close to Ajit Dada.
Yes. Well, it was very unfortunate that we have lost Ajit Pawar today, and never have we imagined that such a thing would happen and Dada would not remain with us. So this was something which is unimaginable. One could not think of his exit in such a way, and he was quite young and handling the political situation in Maharashtra very well. And in spite of the political crisis one had, he has survived in all the hard times and difficult times, politically and otherwise. So I think he had a definitely good grasp of the political situation and also of administration, which we have seen very closely. So losing such a dynamic leader for Maharashtra is something which we would not imagine, nor could we ever think of such a situation that Dada has passed away. But facts are facts which cannot be denied, and I understand the difficult times his family is going through today.
For you, how would you remember Ajit Dada Pawar? And what made him so special? What made him someone with whom perhaps the common people of Maharashtra also connected?
Well, the last memory of meeting him was in Nanded on 25th of this month, when he came for the Hindadi Chadar program in memory of Guru Tegh Bahadur Singh. So also Devendra Fadnavis ji was there, he was there, I was also on the dais. And we met briefly during the function. We had lunch together, and while leaving we shook hands, and he smiled and he left. Hardly did I knew that this is going to be my last meeting with Ajit Pawar on 25th of January, when he left for Pune for the next day Republic Parade on the next day. So this was my last meeting. And for his special qualities, I would say that he was a decision maker. Never was there anything pending with him, whether it be government files, whether it be political decisions, whether it be meeting on the challenges one would face politically. I have seen him in all situations, and definitely he was a decision maker and a leader one could expect to follow. So I think that we have lost a good leader for Maharashtra.
In Maharashtra, they say that politicians keep the politics aside when they are away from the public eye. Where there is always a great personal equation. Was he able to do that despite him and whatever happened within the NCP splitting, etc.? Was he still able to keep personal relations in place?
I think I have seen him closely when I was in the Congress. There were several instances where there used to be some minor conflicts, and party priorities were definitely there before him and for me also. But never did we have any bitterness in our relationship. Even as a deputy chief minister, when I was the chief minister, he was a minister in my cabinet. I didn't see any type of personal conflict or anything which would hurt him or me. And we could discuss, meet, understand each other, and he was very respectful of me because he has worked in my cabinet. So definitely he had the memories of me as the chief minister. So I think we shared a very good equation with each other, and never was there any moment where there could be any strong differences.
Many believe he loved local food. He loved his misal pav and chivda and traditional Maharashtrian cuisine, etc. And both of you have had nearly 4 decades plus in.
He had a taste.
Ji.
So I would frankly say that I have never. To that extent, we must have had a few lunches and dinners together. But he was a good. He was a foodie. It's like non-vegetarian is what I have seen. That's all what I know about that.
Finally, how would you remember Ajit Pawar? Any moment that you will never forget now? instance which perhaps will remain with you as a leader, as a person?
Well, there are several instances which I have seen over last 20 years or more. But last incidents when I met him was about 2 or 3 months back, when I had gone to meet him at his residence to do some of my works in my district, Nanded district, and my constituency. And he was very helpful as ever. But at the same time, he picked up his telephone and rang up almost 4 to 5 officers just to send the message that ye kaam karwana hai, please get this done. Ashok Chavan is there with me here and please see that it is done. So, I mean, it was a very, something which I felt was very positive. His approach was very positive, his approach was very dynamic, and decision making was very quick, which I personally experienced on several occasions.
Ashok Chavanji, thank you for your time, and our condolences also on this tragic turn of events. Thank you for speaking with us.
We are all with Ajit Pawar's family and his Sharad Pawar ji on the hour of grief. Yeah.
Thank you, Ashok ji. Thank you, Ashok ji. Back to you in the studio, Griha.
Anand, we are talking in the times where there is an unfortunate incident that has unfolded early this morning as the Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar has passed away in a plane crash in Baramati during an attempted landing in dense fog-like situation. There were unfortunately no survivors who were on board that aircraft. Pawar was en route from Mumbai to Baramati for campaign work when the Learjet 45 on which he was travelling in went down and caught fire. We've lost the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Ajit Pawar, to that crash. We are constantly putting out these various images from after the crash and also the teary farewell that his near and dear ones and members of the NCP, in fact from all political parties across spectrum, they are bidding him adieu as one of the toughest administrators of Maharashtra lost his life in the plane crash today. In fact, we are now learning that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken to Sharad Pawar on the sad demise of Ajit Pawar and expressed his condolences. These are the latest updates of the Prime Minister speaking to Sharad Pawar on the demise of Ajit Pawar. My colleague Payal Mehta with those details. Payal, we do understand that the Prime Minister and the Home Minister were constantly in touch with leaders from Maharashtra to take stock of the situation, and now this update that there is a direct conversation that the Prime Minister has had with senior NCP leader and patriarch Sharad Pawar.
Yes, the Prime Minister in fact has just about spoken to Sharad Pawar, expressed his condolences on behalf of his government and him as far as the sad demise of Ajit Pawar is concerned. It is a different thing that Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar were towards the last not on the same side of the NCP, but the fact remains that Ajit Pawar's uncle is Sharad Pawar and the family has a very, very thick tie to itself as well. And nonetheless, that Ajit Pawar's party is also part of the NDA as well. So, given the fact that the Prime Minister has a long-time association with the Pawar family, and in this hour of crisis, an NDA partner has lost his life, the Prime Minister first expressing condolences on behalf of his government for the family. It's a devastated family which has learned, and the visuals are there for everybody to see, which is Supriya Sule breaking down when she met another member of the family. The Pawar family is a huge family, many cousins coming together, and the pictures have been in the past when, despite the political differences, when it came to weddings and celebration of big functions in Baramati, the Pawar family was never shy to come together. Even in the recent, if you remember, the Sharad Pawar's function to inaugurate one of his schemes, also saw the coming in of an industrialist and Ajit Pawar also. In fact, during Sharad Pawar's recent birthday celebrations also, Ajit Pawar had flown down to the national capital to be with his uncle and celebrate it along with the rest of the members of the family.
Right, absolutely. So a conversation that the Prime Minister has had with senior NCP leader Sharad Pawar on the sad demise of Ajit Pawar. Remember, this unfolded today as the aircraft that was carrying Ajit Pawar to Baramati, remember he'd taken off from Mumbai at about 8 this morning. 9:12 a.m. is when he was supposed to land at Baramati airport, is when this crash, after an attempt at emergency landing was made by the pilot, is when this crash was reported. Payal, the importance of Ajit Pawar in Maharashtra politics, in national politics, has been a lot, and it is going to severely also impact the Mahayuti. And we are seeing the kind of voices that have emerged, in fact the visuals that have also emerged, that show very, very grief-stricken faces of leaders from various political parties. In fact, across spectrum, the kind of reactions have been very, very similar. They are in fact in a state of shock with the sad and sudden demise and this tragic accident of Ajit Pawar, and the Prime Minister, like you said, has expressed similar sentiments.
Yes, Ajit Pawar was no novice or no newbie as far as Maharashtra politics is concerned. Remember, in 1991, he first sowed the seed of Baramati, which later became the big bastion of the Pawar family as well, where Supriya Sule currently is a member of parliament in the Lok Sabha from. She in fact was able to defeat her own sister-in-law, Sunitra Pawar, the late Ajit Pawar's wife, in the 2024 elections as well. But Ajit Pawar has always been a very, very grassroots leader, very, very grounded leader. Has been an MLA for more than 35 years. Has been the finance minister for God knows how many years as well. He is somebody who's connected to the ground, and the Baramati people love him like they love nobody else. Given the fact that that's the kind of connect that he really has. But the connect that Sharad Pawar has had with Baramati, and the kind of connect that Ajit Pawar in particular has had with Baramati is completely inexplicable in words as well. So it's a huge loss for Baramati, for its people, and that's the reason you see scores and scores of people coming up to the hospital, scores and scores of people coming up closer to the family. They want to really be a part of the grief that the family is currently grieving right now. It must be a devastated Sunitra Pawar, who was in the national capital till about a short while ago, and had to fly down to Baramati under these unfortunate circumstances. As well, what a loss it is for Maharashtra politics as well. Ajit Pawar was known to be somebody who had his own style of functioning, his own way of interacting with people. He was always on the humorous side of things. Sometimes he would appear to be very angry with the way he speaks, but he would always, crack up a joke or two or the other. And that is exactly what Ajit Pawar was really famous for. But he never let his work suffer really, and essentially that's the reason he was known as somebody who was able to deliver the goods, somebody who actually sealed the bastion. And the fact that at one point in time, Griha, everybody would consider him to be the actual heir or political heir of Sharad Pawar, because after the party split, the way in which 2024 elections Ajit Pawar's party was able to fight, and the fact that Ajit Pawar is able to seal the deal as far as the assembly elections is concerned, so that debate was clearly settled in the last.
Let's go across to former Maharashtra Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan, who's also joining us. Sir, thanks a lot for your time. A very somber moment as far as all of Maharashtra is concerned. Your first thoughts on what has transpired?
Well, of course, it is a very tragic event, very unexpected turn of events. We are just into the rural election, the Jilla Parishad elections. The campaign was launched today. Yesterday was the last date for withdrawal of nominations. And polling is going to be held on the 5th of February. A very short period of campaigning, and everybody had to pack a lot into these 10-12 days. So he was turning from Bombay to his home constituency, Baramati, when his Learjet crashed while landing. Very tragic accident. It will have a major impact on Maharashtra politics. I don't know what happens to the Devendra Fadnavis government, because he was an important part of the government, Deputy CM. Who will replace him from the NCP is not yet sure. Everybody is in a state of shock. I had worked with him very closely. He was my Deputy Chief Minister when I became the Chief Minister in November of 2010. So we led the state together for about 4.5 years. And we had many pleasant and unpleasant experiences together. He was very decisive and punctual person. I have not met another political leader who was as punctual, as hardworking as he. Like his uncle, Mr. Sharad Pawar, he had a reputation for keeping time, for meeting people. He was a grassroots person completely.
Yes.
And he also handled the finance portfolio with me from 2010. And he presented many budgets. Even now, he was the finance minister of the state. And he was preparing to present the 26-27 budget on one hand, and campaigning for the Jilla Parishad election. He led his party, the Nationalist Congress Party, Ajit Pawar group, and during the recent elections, between the split between Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar's parties. I mean, Ajit Pawar had clearly come out ahead, and we're all looking forward to Sharad Pawar group merging back into Ajit Pawar group, and that was just that's about to happen. But now, with this turn of events, we don't know how the politics will shape up.
But Mr. Chavan, a lot of politicians like yourself or those who are in politics in Maharashtra have been talking about this supposed merger that was all set to take place. Could you share why you say that this was really on the cards and not just speculation, as others may dismiss it?
You see, when we talk to our colleagues in the Nationalist Congress Party, Sharad Pawar group, whether they are going to merge with the Ajit Pawar's party, they were very hesitant. They were not absolutely clear. But on the other, on the ground, if you saw, the election symbol of the Nationalist Congress Party, Sharad Pawar group, which was a trumpet, that symbol had virtually disappeared from the scene. And all the NCP people are now contesting on the clock symbol, which is Ajit Pawar's symbol. So that is a precursor, that was an indication that these two parties are going to come together under the leadership of Ajit Pawar. That was on the cards. It would have happened moment after the Jilla Parishad elections got over on 5th of February.
And you also say we don't know what happens to this government. So if that merger was to happen, according to your knowledge and sense on ground, it would have been favorable to the current BJP dispensation, isn't it?
No, nothing will happen to the government. The only thing is, now who leads the Ajit Pawar's Rashtrawadi, the NCP party, is a big question. Whether it will be somebody in the family like his wife or son, or will there be some other senior political leader, and who will take his place in the Maharashtra cabinet as a deputy CM. That remains to be seen. I think there's a 3-day official mourning.
Yeah.
After that, we'll know. It will have to be done very soon because Ajit Pawar was the finance minister of the state, and the budget of the Maharashtra government has to be presented very soon. So you cannot keep that vacancy for a very long time. Somebody will have to take over. It could be even the Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis himself could take over as the finance minister also and present the budget. But something will have to be done soon in next 2-3 days. And of course, what happens to the Nationalist Congress Party remains to be seen.
But I just want to press you a little bit. It does seem odd that we're talking about this at this time because, we are still in mourning as far as Ajit Pawar's death is concerned. But given that he's no longer with us, do you sense at all that his faction, if it was to merge with the Sharad Pawar faction, could split from the government as well? Is that any sense that you are picking up on the ground? Could it change completely?
No, that is unlikely to happen because there are many ministers belonging to the Sharad Pawar's faction in the government. I don't think they will quit the government at all. A merger of the two factions is on the cards, but it will be necessarily led by Ajit Pawar faction. Only question remains is who leads that faction now? Will it be somebody from the family or will it be a senior leader
of the party,
like Mr. Bhujbal or somebody else? We don't know. So that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But the merger of the two parties was on the cards.
And you feel it is still very much on the cards because of ground realities?
Very much on the ground because both factions are unviable. It will be two small factions. Whether they merge under the leadership back again under Sharad Pawar
is the question.
Remains to be seen.
But sir, certainly very big shoes to fill. As you have described, as many others have described, an old school politician, 24/7 politician, someone who is always on his feet, very close ground connect, and therefore, we don't know who can indeed take his position.
Well, I think it was very difficult to find another leader of his qualities. He had some qualities. We worked together closely for 4.5 years. He was my deputy CM and finance minister. We took some very important decisions which could have been difficult to take without his support. Very difficult decisions we took during the 4 years. And we also disagreed on many things. And I remember once he was very upset at some things, a decision which I took in the state interest, which he did not like. He felt that it was targeting him personally, which was not the case at all. But he resigned in a half from the position of deputy CM. And then after being away from the government for about a month or so, we persuaded him to rejoin the government, and he rejoined the government. And we continued. So we had with a difficult relationship at times, but he wanted to promote his party. I wanted to protect my party. At the same time, we together took some very important decisions for the state. I mean, he's one of the most hardworking leaders, one of the most punctual leaders, one of the most serious leaders that I've seen.
Right.
And he was not flippant. He was not lackadaisical about government. He was very serious whenever any meeting was called. He was there on the dot. He would pay attention to what is happening in the meeting, take decisions at the meeting, and he was completely decisive. And at that times, many times he trampled on the rules, and we had to then bring him back on track. That we need to do things in a hurry, but we cannot trample the rules.
All right.
So there were some differences, but they were genuine differences, basically in the interest of the state of Maharashtra.
Right. As you said, and as many have said, it will be very difficult to replace somebody like Ajit Pawar and, what happens to his party as well. But Prithviraj Chavan, I do thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
In more updates, we're learning that the Bharatiya Janata Party has gone on to hit back at the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee over what they are claiming to be vulture politics. They've also gone on to claim that this is disgusting opportunism on part of Mamata Banerjee, and such vulture-like behavior should be avoided in this hour of tragedy. So remember, Mamata Banerjee had gone on to, while mourning the loss of Ajit Pawar, demand a Supreme Court monitored probe into the plane crash, the plane that was carrying Ajit Pawar, and she said that they want a SC monitored probe into Ajit Pawar's death in the plane crash, and she also in fact said that they do not have any faith on any other agency. This was Mamata Banerjee while she in fact put out a post on social media where she had mentioned that she's deeply shocked and stunned by the sudden demise of Ajit Pawar, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and his co-passengers who have died in a disastrous plane crash at Baramati in the morning today. My colleague Arun Thanta is joining us on the broadcast with these details. Arun, a very, very predictable reaction that's coming in from the Bharatiya Janata Party, but this was something that the Mamata Banerjee had attracted while she had in fact spoken about some amount of conspiracy theories, the possible sabotage into this plane crash that she suggested while asking for a Supreme Court monitored probe.
Well, see, what BJP is saying is that it's very unfortunate that West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, comes out now and makes this statement. This is, of course, a very sensitive time and a very difficult time for the family members. At this point, you should not really have involved into such kind of politics. In fact, we are seeing some of the responses which is coming from the BJP side. They've been very, very critical against Mamata Banerjee because, of course, as far as the DGC is concerned, they will be looking into it. Inquiry has been initiated. Teams of AIB, have already, moving towards Baramati to actually reach to the logical conclusion of what exactly happened there. So that will, of course, take place. But to do politics at this point is something which is not good, and that's the point which BJP is highlighting. In fact, we just heard Prithviraj Chavan, former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, is also saying that this is not the right time to actually indulge into politics. Yes, there will be investigation. Once you have the recovery of the black box, then you will get more details about it. What was the last conversation like between the pilot and the ATC? All these details will emerge once the investigation is concluded. But right now, it's not appropriate to indulge into this sort of politics, because what Mamata Banerjee is saying is something which, of course, is raising questions on the entire death of Ajit Pawar, and that's why you see this very critical reaction, very hard reactions coming from the BJP side targeting Mamata Banerjee.
Right, Arun, thank you so much for all those details. And we are also getting these live visuals from outside the Baramati hospital. Shots of the ambulances carrying the mortal remains of all the people on board that ill-fated aircraft that crashed this morning also had the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, on board that aircraft when it crash landed very close to the Baramati tabletop runway. So that's where the incident really happened, and now we are getting in these visuals from outside the hospital in Baramati, where we can see the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar being taken out of Baramati and towards Mumbai. So this is the latest images that we can bring for our viewers, and right now this entire flurry of vehicles that are getting out of the Baramati hospital. Remember, we also have been bringing to you visuals of veteran NCP leader Sharad Pawar, who is currently at his residence in Mumbai. He's awaiting the arrival of the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar, and very soon the remains will be handed over to the family of Ajit Pawar. The funeral, we are told, happens tomorrow at about 11 a.m. So the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra would be laid to rest at 11 a.m. tomorrow, and that's when the funeral has been announced. We also, in fact, learning of a 3-day mourning that has been announced by the Maharashtra government. So these are the latest visuals. We are also, in fact, talking about how the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar were taken out of the hospital shortly, and that's the visuals that we are bringing to you. And on the other side of the screen, you can see how the family and the leaders from across party lines mourning the death and the sudden demise of Ajit Pawar. We also see visuals of his family members who are deeply shocked and shaken because of this sudden demise of Ajit Pawar. And right now, the mortal remains of the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra are being taken out of the Baramati hospital. In the middle of all this, we do see certain amount of politics that is being played out, and the Bharatiya Janata Party hitting back against Mamata Banerjee over what they claim to be vulture politics being played out on part of the West Bengal Chief Minister, as she had asked for a Supreme Court monitored probe into the plane crash, the plane that was taking Ajit Pawar to Baramati from Mumbai, and while making an emergency landing attempt is when it crashed. So BJP countering all of those claims that have been made by Mamata Banerjee, dissing what they claim to be vulture politics on part of the West Bengal Chief Minister. There have been various voices that have come out in support of Ajit Pawar, mourning the loss of Ajit Pawar. We've had Mr. Ashok Chauhan, Mr. Prithviraj Chauhan all come to us on CNN News 18 and speak about the legacy that he leaves behind, the tough administrator that Ajit Pawar has been. In fact, my colleague Sunil Sawant is now joining us from outside the Baramati hospital. Sunil, ये जो visuals आप हमारे लिए सामने ला रहे हैं, अजीत पवार के mortal remains को अब मुंबई लेके जाया जा रहा है?
जी, अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि जो बारामती में हॉस्पिटल है, उस हॉस्पिटल में अजीत पवार जी का ये पार्थिव हम देख रहे हैं। थोड़ी देर तक पार्थिव यहीं पर रहेगा और उसके बाद 4 बजे यहाँ का जो बीपी कॉलेज है, उस कॉलेज में अंतिम दर्शन के लिए पार्थिव रखा जाएगा और कल सुबह 11 बजे विद्या प्रतिष्ठान जो बारामती का एक इलाका है, एक जो पवार जी ने ही खुला किया था, उस प्रतिष्ठान में अजीत पवार जी का देहांत होगा। वहाँ पे अंतिम संस्कार किए जाएंगे। फिलहाल हम ये दृश्य देख रहे हैं, वहाँ पे लोग बहुत ज्यादा आक्रामक हो रहे हैं, बहुत ज्यादा चिढ़ रहे हैं, क्योंकि यहाँ पे कोई भी मीडिया अलाउड नहीं है, मीडिया यहाँ पे ना रहे, हमारा नेता आज हमारे साथ नहीं है, ये भावना उनकी है, इसलिए यहाँ से मीडिया कैमरा भी हटा रहे हैं।
जी सुनील, कब तक इनका पार्थिव शरीर मुंबई लेके आया जाएगा सुनील? We don't seem to have that link through with Suri. We'll try and reestablish that connection. But these are the visuals that we are bringing for our viewers from outside the Baramati hospital. Just a short while back, the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, have been taken out of the hospital and it's being taken to Mumbai. And that's where the last rites are going to be performed at around 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Before that, for the Antim Darshan, all the family members and the supporters of Ajit Pawar, all the other political leaders are going to be given that Antim Darshan of Ajit Pawar tomorrow, and after which the last rites are going to be conducted. Right now, we're putting out these visuals on one side of your screen, the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar being taken out of the hospital, and on the other side, you do see how the family members are completely inconsolable after the sudden demise of Ajit. Made him a pivotal figure in multiple governments. He's also a nephew of the NCP patriarch Sharad Pawar. He inherited and expanded the influential Pawar family legacy in Western Maharashtra, particularly through this Baramati stronghold. And it was in Baramati where he was supposed to be holding not just 1 or 2 but 4 public meetings, and for which he was about to land in Baramati, where the unfortunate episode of his aircraft crashing really unfolded. Also, talking about the portfolios, critical ones that he has held all through his tenure, including the finance portfolio that he holds, used to hold as he was the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra currently. Also always been known for his bold political maneuvers, including, and how can we not talk about the 2019 and 2023 splits and the alliance with the Bharatiya Janata Party that reshaped government formations and also the dynamics as far as opposition goes. In 2023 and 24, remember, it successfully rebelled against his uncle, securing the NCP name, symbol and the majority of the NCP MLAs via the Election Commission, and that in fact redefined the Nationalist Communist Party and the Nationalist Congress Party. And also remember, he
Yeah, I can. My camera is already on. That's why I was also asking you the same question, that why is the camera not working? Let me again just check. Yeah. Oh. I'm audible now? Is it live or recording? It's a recording. Sure.
Recording
Better?
in progress.
More? Fine.
So, share with us what made him special. What was his unique quality?
Yeah, his unique quality I can mention is, first of all, he was very time punctual. No one in our state was starting the meeting at 7 a.m. in the morning. So that was a very special quality, to start day very early in the morning. His meetings were to be conducted 6 a.m., 7 a.m. So this, I'm not at all flirting, but this is the real truth. So he's a very time punctual person, very bold person. Means whatever he was mentioning, like whatever he used to say, he used to do it. So he used to tell that whatever he say, he mean it. He was to do it, and that was his special. I think. I mean to say, his special quality.
How would you
as a
remember
leader,
him? How would you remember him as a
he was
person?
he was a very hard-working person, and whenever we were in ministry, he used to guide us. Basically, I can quote some of the example that when I was on a very hot seat of public health ministry in the time of Corona. So I was public health minister and he was finance minister. So he used to really support a lot, because whatever proposals we were to take to him, because I was on the ground, and so I used to tell him the all facts and he used to understand it properly. He was very sensitive leader, and he used to really help us a lot. So that was the thing what I can mention here, that he used to help and he used to mentor, he used to tell what is good and what is not. So I think all his experiences he used to share to all of our generation, and so that always kept Maharashtra.
Rajesh ji, my condolences again. Thank you for speaking with us even at this time of real sadness and grief. Thank you. We have viewers breaking from this coverage and cutting straight across to the Lok Sabha. President is addressing the House.
और अगरतला में महिलाओं और बच्चों का अस्पताल बनने से भी बड़ी सुविधा होगी। इस तरह के प्रयासों से पूर्वोत्तर में एक बड़ा हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर तैयार।
There was still a certain level of link and also proximity among the family members, and deep amount of respect between Ajit Pawar and also Supriya Sule, despite the tussle that who would be the political legatee of Sharad Pawar. Now we got more news coming through, just taking you through what top DGCA sources are telling CNN News 18. Top DGCA officials on further probe are actually saying that the wreckage distribution will be studied and photographed in detail to find out the direction and speed and impact on the aircraft. Black box retrieval is crucial to try and study the aircraft health and whether the aircraft was fit to fly. Pre-flight maintenance data will be also under scrutiny, and further the cockpit voice recorder will suggest what the pilots were discussing at the last moment. Any official records of pilot ATC communication will clear what went wrong, and further external factors will also be looked at, like weather, runway positioning, wind, etc. Now, Anvit Srivastava joins us with more details on this story. Yes, Anvit.
RNC, these are the steps in which DGCA will be conducting its final investigation into this crash, and teams, we are being told, are already on their way to the spot to do a detailed study, also because the plane has crashed, the wreckage, the kind of distribution it has, because it went up in flames. So it will be very crucial to retrieve the black box from the plane and find out how the aircraft was actually acting up in its last moment. So that is very important, to study the aircraft health, whether it was fit to fly, what was the technical issue, if there was any in this aircraft, because previously NTSB also had flagged issues and had told FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration in the US, to make sure that many of these aircrafts had shown defects in landing gear, particularly, and across models this defects was found. In fact, last February also a jet had crashed in Philadelphia, in which 7 people were killed on board. So these Learjet accidents have been there in the news, and following that NTSB also had issued a statement and had asked FAA to act on it, and therefore DGCA will also keep those defects in mind, and not just the wreckage distribution, but further other than the retrieval of black box, cockpit voice recorder will also be looked at to find out as to what was the conversation between, not just between the pilots also, but also between the pilot and the ATC, what communication was there, and if there was any defect or any problem on board that was communicated to the ATC, whether it was a mayday call, whether there was any defect was communicated, whether they were seeking any directions to land, if there was any issue on board the plane. Also, it will clear, the external factors will be studied to see that whether runway positioning is what could have led to this crash, whether the altitude that the plane was landing at was not right, or the speed was not right. So all those things will be looked at, and to finally conclude as to what happened. There could be internal and technical factors as well. External factors will also not be ruled out and will also be looked at. So initially, DGCA has said, even though they have confirmed that Ajit Pawar was on that flight, there were 5 people on board, 2 pilots pilots, two of his staff and Ajit Pawar were there, and the flight has crashed and no survivors are there. They've also said that the attempt to land was being made and it was that time when the accident took place. So keeping this in mind, it cannot be ruled out that NTSB that had issued, raised issues with the landing gear, that could have played here as well. So DGC will keep that also in mind while probing the incident. So far the incident has finally come out and they've confirmed the incident and confirmed the death as well.
Now, we got many reactions coming in. This is a Learjet, one of the workhorses that is being used as chartered flights by many netas and people all across the world. Very trustworthy, flies at very high altitudes and can cover at least 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers in terms of distance, and it is seen as one of the workhorses among the low passenger chartered flights which are taken in, and even for medium to long distances. Now there are eyewitness reactions that have come in which actually showcase the fact that it was at the approach. Now if you were to see the pictures, viewers, the pictures very clearly say that just ahead of the approach of the landing strip, that's where the crash has happened. There are eyewitness versions that are coming in. We'll play that out in a bit. Union Minister Piyush Goyal has also reacted. We'll play that out. I think devastated. That is the first reaction that's come in from the entire Pawar family. Just one word, they're all shocked and dismayed and absolute disbelief for anybody, because such is life. We may make a lot of plans, but then when death comes knocking, it can just put all those plans in abeyance and just take a loved one away. From a family perspective, they're all very shocked because this has happened in Baramati. He was going to Baramati to try and address a few rallies ahead of campaigning, ahead of the Baramati civic body polls. Baramati is the bastion of the Pawar family, and this is where they have learned their work in terms of political and public life. And for nearly more than 4 decades, Ajit Dada Pawar has been active while working and learning under the shadows and the able guidance of Sharad Pawar. The octogenarian must be shocked today. One can only think what Mr. Sharad Pawar must be going through. He has battled so many adversities politically, personally, and he has fought through them and emerged. But condolences to the Pawar family, and as Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Nitin Gadkari have already said, everybody is only praying that they are accorded the strength to deal with such a tragedy as that has transpired. An air crash that has taken away Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar, fondly known as Ajit Dada Pawar. Arunima now with us. Arunima, the DGCA is now going to get into the details, but according to an eyewitness version, they're saying that the aircraft, as it descended, it seemed it would crash, and it did crash. It then exploded. There was a massive explosion, and after that we rushed there and saw that the aircraft was on fire. There were 4 or 5 explosions in the aircraft again. More people came here and tried to pull the people out of the aircraft, but since it was a huge fire, people could not help. Ajit Pawar was on board, and this is really painful for us. I can't describe it in words. This is one of the eyewitness version, and the pictures also say the same. It was approaching, it was making an approach to the landing strip. So what went wrong and where is going to be very critical, and people will need these answers.
Yesterday, when the plane was about to land, eyewitnesses who are not technically proficient to their naked eye also, the plane seemed unstable. Eyewitnesses say that it looked to us that the plane would crash, and it did crash land. What really went wrong, we do not know. Was this an engine related issue, any technical failure, or as some sources are indicating, was it anything to do with the conditions in which the plane was landing? All of that will have to be investigated. But the eyewitness account, if there are any videos, none have surfaced so far, but if there are any visual evidence at the time of landing, that could help the investigators as well. And like Anvit said, the normal standard operating procedure will be followed. The black box, the flight data recorder, the engine, the placement of the wings, and the tail end of the plane has survived. So there could be some evidence there as well when technical investigation is carried out. But this is extremely unfortunate. It looks like that the pilot was not in control of the aircraft, and he could not really steer it towards the runway. Right at the start of the runway, the flight crashed, and in minutes it was on fire. Eyewitness account also seems to be suggesting that there were multiple explosions, at least 4 to 5 explosions after the crash landing, giving no chance if there was even anyone injured anyone who had survived the crash, the fire ensured that there was no chance of them, being pulled out of the wreckage.
Yes, and this was the approach for this airstrip, and many people say that there had been repeated requests to try and lengthen the, the length of this entire airstrip and also give it a certain more amount of permanency and a more solid structure than the way it had been currently designed. And these requests had also come from Ajit Pawar himself. We have one of the eyewitness reactions. Let's listen into what this eyewitness had to say.
ये हमने देखा कि एरोप्लेन जब नीचे आया था ऐसा लग रहा था उसका क्रैश हो जाएगा ऐसा हम सोच रहे थे, तभी क्रैश हो गया। हम देखे कि हमें लगा नहीं क्रैश हो गया है, लेकिन एयर ट्रैप पे उतरेगा ऐसा लगा, उतर रहा है, लेकिन क्रैश हुआ और उसके बाद स्फोट हो गया उसका जबरदस्त। स्फोट होने के बाद वो हम देखने आए, पहले देखा तो उसको आग लगी थी पूरे प्लेन को, और उसके बाद 4-5 स्फोट हो गया विमान में उसका, और उसके बाद बहुत लोग आ गए और उसने निकालने की कोशिश की, लेकिन बड़ी आग लगी, उसके कारण कोई मदद नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन सब आ गए। तब बाद में उसमें अजीत दादा था, ये हमारे लिए बहुत शौक की बात में है, ये हमें बता नहीं सकते हम बात में ऐसा, लेकिन हमने देखा है कि पायलट ने भी वाली घटना है।
So the eyewitness there saying that they were watching the aircraft and they could see that there was something wrong. It may crash. The aircraft attempted to land but then crashed just ahead of the airstrip. There were multiple explosions. They tried to rush towards the crash and the debris to try and rescue people. They were aware that Ajit Dada Pawar was part of that in that flight. But they just could not do anything because there were multiple explosions and the extent of the fire was such, the blaze was such because of the crash, that they just could not help and save anybody or rescue anybody, and they're all very, very, very shocked. A lot of shock, angst, despair, dismay among the supporters of Ajit Pawar and also across the political fraternity. The Pawar family has just is en route to Baramati. Sharad Pawar, Supriya Sule, her husband Sadanand Sule, Mrs. Sharad Pawar, they are all travelling and rushing to Baramati. Parth Pawar, Rohit Pawar, they will all also be making their way. The entire Pawar family will head to Baramati. Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president, has also expressed condolences. He said, and he's posted on X, the news of the tragic demise of Shri Ajit Pawar in a plane crash is deeply shocking and profoundly distressing. It is an untimely loss of a leader who had a long and promising political career ahead. No words can adequately express the immense grief that the bereaved family must be enduring during this difficult hour. I extend my deepest condolences to the entire Pawar family, his supporters and well-wishers. Having served the people of Maharashtra in various constitutional capacities, Shri Ajit Pawar shall be remembered as a seasoned politician who discharged his responsibilities towards his people with sincerity and astuteness. May his soul rest in peace. Mallikarjun Kharge. Ajit Pawar entered politics and public life in 1980-82 and then was elected to the Lok Sabha as early as 1991. Nearly 4 decades in public life for Ajit Pawar. Lalu Prasad Yadav has also taken to X to post his condolences. बारामती प्लेन हादसे में महाराष्ट्र के डिप्टी सीएम श्री अजीत पवार जी के निधन का अत्यंत दुखद समाचार प्राप्त हुआ। ईश्वर उनकी आत्मा को शांति प्रदान करे तथा परिजनों और समर्थकों को इस अपूरणीय क्षति को सहने की क्षमता प्रदान करे। हादसे की उच्च स्तरीय जांच होनी चाहिए। विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि। That's what Lalu Yadav has tweeted and posted. There is also a message that has come across from Ram Mohan Naidu. The Civil Aviation Minister Vinod Tavade has also tweeted. Ram Mohan Naidu coming out and saying, deeply saddened by the tragic passing of Shri Ajit Pawar in the plane crash in Baramati earlier today. My sincere condolences to his family, loved ones and all those affected by this loss. May his contributions to public life be remembered and may the bereaved find strength in this difficult time. There is also a message that has come in from Vinod Tavade of the BJP. बारामती की मिट्टी से उठा एक तूफान आज उसी मिट्टी में शांत हो गया। माननीय अजीत दादा के दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण निधन की खबर से आज पूरा महाराष्ट्र स्तब्ध और शोकमग्न है। मेरे साथ ही हर प्रदेशवासी का इस पर विश्वास कर पाना बहुत मुश्किल है। राजनीति में स्पष्ट और बेबाक जनता के प्रिय और अपने शब्दों पर अडिग रहने वाले जननेता आज हमें छोड़कर चले गए। अलविदा अजीत दादा। This is Vinod Tavde. Viewers, one must understand that Maharashtra politics, despite being fiercely contested, there has always been a certain level of amiability and perhaps how we would say polite behavior among politicians outside of the active political stage. They would be great friends, have a cup of tea, have conversations, and perhaps even discuss politics. So what they would take, their plan politically, and how they would behave personally, there was always a certain decorum that was maintained. And just like Shri Nitin Gadkari said, there were always great personal equations and relations, despite what level or line of politics one would follow. And this was established even by the likes of Sharad Pawar and Balasaheb Thackeray. At that time, they were great friends, they would communicate personally, but politically they were fierce opponents and rivals. And that's why this sentiment is coming across political party lines from Maharashtra leaders, because they all respect, like and know each other personally. Let's go across to Yesha Kotak. Yesha is on her way to Baramati. Baramati must be shocked. This was the bastion, and like Vinod Tavde said, he came from here, from Baramati, and rose to the Maharashtra and national spectrum. And tragedy as it is, he breathed his last at his own soil in Baramati. Eknath Shinde is speaking, Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister.
दुर्दैवी घटना आज महाराष्ट्रात घडली आहे. तर म्हणजे असं कोणाच्या स्वप्नातही वाटलं नसेल की अजितदादा एवढ्या लवकर आपल्यातून जातील. ही महाराष्ट्रासाठी अतिशय दुःखद आणि दुर्दैवी घटना अजितदादांच्या जाण्याने झालेली आहे.
Eknath Shinde saying this is a very, very sad and tragic turn of events.
अजितदादा गेले अनेक वर्ष या महाराष्ट्राच्या राजकारणात नेतृत्व करत होते.
For the last many years, Ajit Pawar has been at the forefront of Maharashtra politics as a tall leader.
परखड, स्पष्ट वक्तेपणा,
candid, straight talking,
प्रशासनावर असलेली त्यांची
and a very, very able, hard-working administrator.
प्रत्येक गोष्टीचा त्यांना बारीक अभ्यास करून बोलण्याची सवय होती.
His politics was practiced.
परखड, स्पष्ट वक्तेपणा, निर्भीड, रोखटोक बोलणारे असले.
He was fearless.
तरी
Would
सुद्धा
speak his mind.
त्याला चूक म्हणणारे असले तरी सुद्धा
And he was never deterring from admitting
त्याचा अनुभव मी
his
स्वतः
mistakes.
घेतलेला आहे. त्यांच्यासोबत
Ready to take responsibility for both achievements and failures.
मी मुख्यमंत्री असताना त्यांनी उपमुख्यमंत्री म्हणून देखील काम केलं.
He was deputy chief minister when I was chief minister.
जेव्हा मुख्यमंत्री मी असताना मुख्यमंत्री माझी लाडकी बहीण योजना किंबहुना इतरही योजना जेव्हा आम्ही सुरू केल्या तेव्हा आर्थिक जे काही
And he backed and supported all the initiatives like Larki Behan that were undertaken during my tenure as chief minister. He ensured funds were available. He ensured that the implementation of these schemes went about as planned.
ते अजितदादा करायचे. करतो, बघतो, पाहतो असे शब्द त्यांच्या डिक्शनरीत नव्हते.
And he was always a person who would say, if it's got to be done, it will be done. There were no ifs, buts and maybes in his lexicon and his language.
मी असेन, मुख्यमंत्री देवेंद्रजी असतील, अजितदादा असतील, आम्ही टीम म्हणून काम केलं.
We worked as a team. And we worked together.
कामाच्या वेगवेगळ्या मी पहाटे उशिरापर्यंत काम करतो. अजितदादा पहाटे लवकर काम सुरू करतात. देवेंद्रजी दिवसभर काम करतात. आणि अजितदादांनी 6-6 वाजता देखील अपॉइंटमेंट दिलेल्या अधिकाऱ्यांनी आणि लोकप्रतिनिधींनी पाहिलेल्या आहेत.
So he was one of the most hard-working leaders I've known. We all worked
आणि वेळेचं भान ठेवणार.
round the clock. He has given. There are officials who would confirm this, that he has given appointments as early as 6 a.m. in the morning.
काल परवाच आमची एका कार्यक्रमामध्ये भेट झाली. सरन्यायाधीश आपले भारताचे
I just met him the day before
मुंबईत आले होते
at a function
आणि ते
in
येण्यापूर्वी
Mumbai.
आम्ही तिथंच एका चेंबरमध्ये बसलो होतो आणि त्यावेळेस झालेल्या चर्चा गप्पा गोष्टी
And we were sitting together in the
आधी
chamber.
सकाळी जेव्हा मला त्यांची ही घटना
We had a
कळली,
couple of we had
तेव्हा
an
समोर
in-depth conversation about work and
त्याच
otherwise.
आठवणी काल परवाच्या येऊ लागल्या.